Okay, hello everyone. Kenyon here, Basketball Rewind. Let's get this show on the road. Just as I kind of put the information out there, um, we'll see who joins and we'll go from there. Obviously, just before I really kick things off, I'm going to be mainly for the audience talking about the trade deadline that is looming and coming up and whatnot. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Um, so I hope everyone is doing well today. Obviously, big news across the board. I almost want to go in reverse. Um, James Harden obviously just got traded for Darius Garland. I think that is probably the biggest and most recent news that we're seeing right now. And obviously, that is it's a pretty big move. I like it. We kind of got some wind about it not that long ago. Just trying to see if a few other people are going to join or not. We'll see. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the James Harden move, the Triple J move, some of the smaller moves that we kind of discussed on Basketball Rewind a couple of days ago. I believe it was Krejci, getting traded, Dennis Schroeder on the Cavs. The Cavs are making moves though, and trying to stack what they can. As I'm talking about these moves, I think the most interesting thing to come out from that is going to be what comes next. What are the landscape, like what's happening with the landscape, what is going to change, and we are going to see, because there are some players that are kind of holding cards back or gearing up for what is next. So let's go through it. As whoever has joined, thank you for joining. Welcome. Uh, I think the first thing is really simple. As I'm kind of talking about this, I'm thinking Giannis is potentially that deal is closing in, because usually if the deal wasn't closing in, you'd see a lot of these other teams kind of honing in. By the way, if you can hear me, let me know in the chat for sure. But yeah, so I think that we are closing in on a Giannis deal in the next. It may not be all the way till the deadline. It may be the deadline, but either way, I think a Giannis deal is imminent. And the reason why is because you see other teams just offloading and not even trying to be a part of that, or gearing up to be a part of that, for example. So there's been a lot of moves in the NBA. Nothing like crazy, but some pretty interesting moves for sure. So let's kind of go through them. The Dennis Schroeder move was, I think, an interesting move, because to me it showed, okay, you have the Cavs. The Cavs are trying to get Lonzo Ball healthy, but Lonzo Ball hasn't been as healthy as I was hoping that he would be this year. Again, you know, it's been a long road to recovery for him. Hasn't been perfect, but at the same time, I mean, hey, it is what it is. And for a guy like that, it's like, what's next? It was a low, I think it was an Isaac Okoro and something. It was a very low end move for the Cavs to acquire Lonzo Ball, and it hasn't worked out. And so they needed a backup point guard to begin with. And that would come in the form of Dennis Schroeder. It just made sense. Beyond that, I think you look at, okay, so the Cavs are now shuffling the deck. They're a pretty expensive team because Mobley is getting the Supermax, and, because he won the Defensive Player of the Year, and just in general, it's just an expensive team. So you gotta have to start thinking, okay, like what is next? And I've always thought that the Cavs struggle long term. As much as I love Darius Garland, long term they struggled from in the playoffs having two small guards. Now, Donovan Mitchell, for as small as he is in terms of stature, he is able to just give you so much. Like he plays way bigger than his size, and even defensively, he's done a better job of being more like present, if you will. He's not a good defender per se, but like he's giving it, he's giving a lot right now. Like definitely giving a lot, and so I think to me, I wasn't expecting this move, but as soon as you heard James Harden, and I know I was talking to Beyond offline, and he was mentioning that James Harden felt mad because of the All Star snub, which is possible, very very possible. Um, and so he asked out, especially ahead of his call it pre agency, because of course he needs to negotiate a contract. This is where you have a team like the Cavs who they were number one last year in the conference. They've taken a step back. They really want to kind of right their ship in a sense. I mean, it makes sense that the Nets would want to do, or sorry, that the Cavs would want to do this type of move right now. Still a little surprising, but yeah, Harden is 37, I think. If not, he's getting up there. But he still has a lot in the tank. He has had a phenomenal year. We're going to go through the stats in just a little bit, of course, but he brings a lot to the Nets. And what it brings the Clippers, who do not have control over their draft pick this year, and they don't really have a lot of control over their future, anyways, is it gives them kind of a pivot point, a reset point moving forward that they can kind of look at and say, okay, we at least have one, we at least have one guy that we can kind of look at and kind of add to the future where eventually Kawhi is going to age out of where he is right now. So if there are comments, I am not looking at the screen just yet. I'm just setting up the screen, but we will get it bump it in just a second. So yeah, so it was a second rounder and Darius Garland, which is funny for the second. And of course, you get James Harden. And what was interesting about the Harden deal as well is that it happened so quickly. Like you just heard all of a sudden James Harden asked out. Next second, boom, James Harden's getting traded. You're like, whoa, that was really really fast. So the speed at which these deals are coming and the dominoes are kind of like lining up for whatever else is to come. It's happening at just such a speed right now that it is quite interesting. Now I need to just double check and just see. Um, I figured just whatever is happening in the NBA, I just wanted to kind of get this out of the way because like these deals that are coming, I think that there's more to come, and I just felt like there's something here that I just wanted to capture and just get out there very quickly. Um, of course, we have games going on in the midst of all this people getting traded. Now, what is interesting is tomorrow you have actually let me take just a step back from what might happen tomorrow. In terms of Jakob Pertl rumors and Sabonis rumors, I think that was pretty interesting as well. I think Sam Amick was talking to Asfandir Bahrani recently, and he was discussing how basically if Pertl doesn't play on Wednesday, that there may not be a deal. And this is why I think you have situations where Grange, for example, is putting himself out there taking photos and snapping like he's paparazzi at practice, and then that's kind of going out to show, hey, he's working his way back. He's close because they don't want that deal to kind of disappear. A lot of these roads, from a Raptors perspective, are looking like they do want to try to get a big, but they are also angling that if it doesn't happen, they might do a Mobo dump or a battle dump to get under the tax. So back to the James Harden. James Harden, 25 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. Not the most efficient in his career. He is shooting 42% basically, and 35% from deep, 90% from the free throw line. Not his best year, but from a PR standpoint, it's 22, and he is still like it's like this is sorry, age 36, age 36 season, 22 uh, plus PER, overall shooting the ball decently well. He's shot the ball close to 45% before, shot the ball almost 50, 40, 90 before. But to really get the production that he's getting at his age, he still clearly has some gas left in the tank. For a team like the Cavs, where they need another called dog to kind of go along for the ride with a guy like you know, I keep wanting to say Darius Garland, like Donovan Mitchell. I think that's it's they needed another dog. They needed another scorer. They needed someone who could score consistently and give you what James Harden can still give you. I mean, there are games that even now, like James Harden is able to just toss up, whatever he needs to toss up. I think this year, yeah, it's like he can still give you 36 on the odd night, 55. Like he gave you 55 points this year. like like early in November, he gave you 55 points. Evan Mobley's not giving you that. Darius Garland is not giving you 55 points in a night. Not even when they punch up. And so to get that type of an offensive weapon, and you really to have two really strong offensive weapons, so to speak. It's the Cavs are. I don't think that they're done yet, but they just made one heck of a move. Yeah, yeah. Actually, I was welcome, Will. I'm glad you joined. Um, I was just talking about that like that might be the only deal to kind of get us um under the tax, and if that is the case, it's kind of sad. Now, the Harden thing is interesting because now what you see is that there's is going to start a bit of an arms race in the East. I think the Cavs are the first domino. They're like, I'm not looking at the standings right now, but they're like, say, 5, 6 in the East. Raptors are fourth. They're right there on your heels. And we have very similar records. It might be within a game or so in terms of wins, losses. So at the end of the day, this is yeah, I'm looking at Harden 98 percentile offensive player, which is crazy. You are in a situation from the Raptors where if you are Bobby Webster, not only from the standpoint of clearing your books and getting off a guy like Pirtle, but overall you are also going to be looking at other situations as well. Like maybe you want to actually, hey, the East is weak enough, we'll say, where it's like you might as well just consolidate some assets. You have a chance to open up minutes for someone. For example, if RJ goes, it's going to open up minute Gary Trent 2.0. You got that right, not in a good way. And that was a chance to open up minutes for a guy like Grady, Jacoby, and other guys on the bench, and you kind of keep it moving from there. So the fact that they were able to get Harden, they have Dennis Schroeder backing him up. They also have Keon Ellis, who is going to be a much better version of what they were hoping they would have from Isaac Okoro. It's a very, very interesting roster that they have. Again, more moves to probably come, but I think that this is I maybe I'm in the minority here. I don't know. I haven't really talked to enough people about this. I really like this deal for the Cavs. Um, so yeah, Will, your thoughts on the Cavs deal? I'm not sure. Did you like the what the Cavs just did? Um, between everyone, strip club Harden. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that they're winning, but they're very interesting. They're better than they were, in my opinion, especially in the playoffs. Like, there's times when Donovan Mitchell is like giving you like 35, 36 in the playoffs, and it's like, well, who else is coming with him? So to me, you can say strip club Harden and Spida and stuff like that. I get it, haha. But at the same time, I think this is a good move. What's interesting now is that they're also looking to move off of Jarrett Allen more than likely. It sounds like it. So yeah, Harden Mitchell versus IQ and Shed. Like please, please. And by the way, Harden's a big guard. He's like a 6'5" guard, strong too. So and he can run an offense for sure. It's not my favorite player in terms of running offenses, but yeah. So let's kind of go backwards. That's the most recent deal. Crazy deal. I don't know which second rounder. Same with the next deal that I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about which deals they were. Welcome, James. James, we just finished talking about the James Harden deal and how that is basically gone down and what that looks like. And I basically said that the Cavs have gotten better. Not saying that they're going over the top. Not talking about going over the top, people, but they are better this year. I still, if it's a big part of me that I would still bet on the Celtics, which I will get to them in just a second. Now, the Jazz made a move that confused some people, but I actually like the move. So the question was that I've seen out on Twitter is like, well, why would the Jazz get that? Where's Larry Markkinen going to play? Well, first of all, they're not done making moves. But the second is Larry Markkinen? Yes, he can play the three. He has played the three on the Cavs before. It was actually where he won Most Improved. So he can play the three. And I should actually tweet that. But yes, one of his best years when he was scoring like 25 a night. I mean, it's not like he's slowed down. He's scoring like 27 right now, which is crazy. Um, but like one of his best years was on the Cavs as a three. So just in terms of them, like Triple J slots. I don't know what's going to happen with Walker Kessler, but if you have Walker Kessler, Triple J, Laurie Markkinen, and you have Ace Bailey, and you have Keontae George, that's one hell of a roster. What it signals to me is that Memphis is done. They're blowing this puppy up. So where Ja goes is going to be interesting. There is a joke that I saw that I will not share, but let's just say the Utah is also gearing up to change certain laws around what they can and cannot bring into an arena. I will leave it at that. Um, so so yeah, the Bulls are the latest rumor is that the Bulls are actually looking at potentially moving off of Kobe White. I don't know. It sounds like Minnesota was in the running for that. And then with the latest Giannis news, they are holding their powder drive to kind of go for Giannis. So yeah, I do have a guest actually coming in. So um, we'll just do this, and I'm gonna just tweet this thing out, and then yeah. How are you doing, Mouth?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Where are we at? Because I just saw James Harden go to the Cavs for
I,
Darius
I,
Garland,
I'm,
a second
I'm
rounder.
working backwards. So I just talked
Okay.
in full about James Harden. You can give me your quick thoughts. I said that it does make the Cavs better. And I said that what they gave up, I basically explained why they did it is that, as you and Beyond have said from a long time, but also we've just talked about is that they need someone else. I mean, you could pick on Mobley for it, but they need someone else to really
Yes.
kind of give them a little bit of a punch come playoff time. I know Donovan Mitchell is not your favorite player, but there's no question in my mind that he gives a lot offensively. And there are times where the question is are other people going to come along for the ride with him? Your
Well,
thoughts?
neither is Harden for that matter. But
Harden
those
has
two,
moments where he quits, but he can
right?
definitely. I mean, he gave you 55 points in November, for example. Like
Yes. Yes.
Garland ain't doing that.
No. 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 Him and Mitchell together will be interesting.
Yeah.
Where that leaves Mobley, I don't know, but I think the Cavs are like, okay, we just had a center get 40 points and 17 rebounds. If we can get another guy who can throw him alley oops, then maybe that works for us.
They're looking to reportedly get off Jarrett Allen potentially. So, which is
Wow. I
interesting.
mean, after the game he just had, I'd hold on to him. But
Yeah.
if you're the Cavs, you got to go for it. You can't wait around to hope that LeBron James comes next year. And
You're
so
also
they went,
expensive.
yes, yes. I think the Cavs had no choice but to go for it. They're also looking to get rid of Max Strus because he's on big money. Uh, but I'm not sure about the fit because both Mitchell and Harden are ball dominant guards, but Harden at least likes to pass it. They're both they both struggled in the playoffs, so it'll be interesting in a weak Eastern Conference how that helps them. Defensively, it will not help them, and they're already sort of bad defensively. So I guess they're going to try to outscore everybody. But it's an interesting move because I think the Cavs had to move on from Garland, and I think that the Clippers had to move on from Harden. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I think you have enough. I guess if you reorientate your defense again, you can kind of punch back up with a former defensive player of the year, as in last year, current reigning one. Um, and then if he that guy is more orientated towards passing, anyways. I mean, watching his college career, that's what he did. Shout out to his dad, who also put him in that position to do it.
Yeah,
And then of course, you have it's just one less thing for him to worry about. So if you wanted to compare it to like a Scotty type situation, it's like okay, these dudes like to shoot, you like to
yeah,
pass. It's great.
yes, yes,
And then yeah, Garland stinks in the playoff. I think Garland is small, so when you have two small guards, and he has had moments where he has I won't say he has stunk, but yeah, he has had moments where he could have played a little bit better. So I was just blinding myself a little bit here.
yeah.
Um, so from there, I was just moving on to the next trade. I'm kind of working backwards here, and I was meandering a little bit. I did talk about how this might impact the Raptors, but I basically said that the Raptors are in a little bit of an arms race now in the East, and I think that that's what you're gonna start potentially seeing. So, what did you think of the Jazz's move? Because that's the next thing.
I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. As I
Mhm.
fix my camera here, don't mind me now. I look much better. There you go. I was kind of like in non standard definition mode there, guys. Um, I thought it was a shocking move. I didn't think Danny Ainge would push all his cards to the front of the table there, or his chips to the front of the table there. But to get a talent like JJJ on a team that already has some really good guards, has Walter Kessler, although I expect him to be traded
Yeah.
now because you're not gonna pay both Kessler and JJJ. So I think they have the right to be a better team. I don't know how much better because
Mhm.
they're like one of the worst defensive teams I've ever seen. Now they're going to score a lot, but I don't know. You have to start somewhere, and JJJ is a good way to start.
Now I do hear something in your background. Is that a TV or something? Uh,
Possibly yes. Let me just.
that's okay. If you can't turn it off, that's okay. Then I'll just
I
just
can. I can.
that.
Don't
Oh,
mind
okay,
me.
okay, okay. I was gonna just say that I can mute you when you're not talking or whatever. That works. Yeah. So you like the move overall. Now, someone made a great point. I am not going to try to pronounce this person's name, but they basically said that it's $100 million. Now, I will say the cap is moving up. Yes, Triple J is going to be making a good chunk of change, but I think it's worth a try at some point with the Jazz. Like you got to start moving on and getting better. You can't just wait and wait and wait and wait. Um, you just can't. I don't know if
Yeah.
they're planning on being in the AJ DeBanza sweepstakes. I mean, he is just down the road from them. But if they're not, like that's perfectly fine. Um, so yeah, Boston has been interested in Colonel for a while, but I don't know what you're trading for him.
Well, not now.
Um,
They just traded for Vooch, so they're not going to go trade for Pirtle now.
I think that they might still actually like really what they have behind them is Chris Boucher, who is really not. I mean, it's Chris Boucher. Here's a question. So while that question is rolling in, speaking of the Celtics, going backwards, the Celtics did acquire Nikola Vucevic, as you pointed out. Hey, Beyond, you're also Beyond. By the way, you have the link. You're welcome to join up. But yeah, basically Nikola Vucevic to the Bulls, or sorry, from the Bulls to the Celtics. Now we heard rumors of this a couple of days ago with you know, you see, okay. sorry, just to interrupt myself, I did put out like within the past half an hour, I'm like, I think Giannis will be a Wolf, but we'll get to that in a second. Um, because I think that they're hungry enough. So, but yeah, so where was I? I was talking about the
Vooch.
yeah. So I think that the Celtics are gearing up to have a similar style of team that they had before with someone who's more readily available, and that's Kristaps Porzingis. So to me, you have someone who doesn't mind being a little bit more in the post. Luch is not a great defender, but he can spread the floor like what you had with the other guy. He's healthier, and then of course you're going to roll into this year, into the playoffs. You presume that Tatum is going to play at some time in the point. And James, I'm going to get to your question in just a sec. But yeah, so yeah, your thoughts on that move? Anthony Simons is just really an expiring, but it does give you pause for the Bulls because the Bulls have a lot of guards right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that it was inevitable that they would move Simons. I didn't know it would be for Vooch, but I thought that it was inevitable. I find it interesting that they went from Porzingis to Vooch. That's an interesting little move.
Mm.
Obviously, Vooch is healthier and will play more. I
And
don't know what
cheaper.
it does, and cheaper. Don't know what it does for their defense. It will spread the floor. They like to shoot threes, so it makes a lot of sense from that respect. As far as Jason Tatum goes, it looks like he's going to come back this season, and the Celtics are.
He's coming back.
I
I'm telling
mean,
you right now, he will
yeah,
come back.
yeah. I mean,
I can't
he's
I can't give you a date, but he will be back.
no, he's been rehabbing 6 days a week. He's planning to come back, and the Celtics are playing great, so they're going to be right there. I don't know what the Bulls are doing. I guess they're trying to clear out space. I mean, I have no idea what the Bulls are doing. They got Giddy. They've got still
They
got
got
Patrick Williams
Giddy.
in there.
They got Giddy, Ivy,
Yeah,
right? So they got Giddy, Ivy, Kobe White.
yeah,
They have Mike Conley as well,
yeah. They're trying to move Kobe White, but nobody
and
wants.
Io
And
Desumo.
yes, they're trying to move Kobe, but nobody wants to give him a first round pick. So like they're
No,
just holding on to him, and that's kind of
because
where they are.
in some ways Kobe White is like he's like a better, bigger version of IQ in some ways, in terms of the fact that he's
Sure.
not really a point guard in the way that I would like a point guard. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just get to this comment and then I'm gonna answer James's question. I wonder if we could get Naz Reid. Hell no, no, that's a pipe dream, man. Sorry.
No, I
And
can tell
maybe
you about
James
McDaniels though.
and maybe Jaden McDaniels. I would love Jaden McDaniels. The problem is that the latest report about the Bucks
Yes.
is that they want Jaden McDaniels.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's no third
No.
team. And
No.
yeah, actually, and yeah, just to yeah. So I actually covered this. This is perfect. Good segue into this. Is that Kobe White? Yeah, good point. Was offered, but it sounds like this is so like a lot of the moves that are happening. Let me know that I think that Giannis is going in the next 24 hours. I don't think it's going to wait till Thursday. I think by tomorrow night. I mean, if they do it fast enough, Giannis is just a plane ride away.
Yes. Yes. Giannis will not be a Buck after the deadline. I'm telling you right now, he's not going to be a Buck. That
Yes.
I can
Okay.
almost
We have
guarantee
we
it.
have another person. I'm going to tap them in just a second, but I want to answer James's questions first, or at least start getting the first question, and then we'll tap in. We got Beyond the Locker Room coming up soon. It says
Who wants
if
to
Bob.
answer this first?
So it says, yeah, if Bobby can't make any deals, should he immediately get fired? And that's a good cue to add Beyond up here.
Yes.
James chewing me up, boy. Here we go.
That's it.
Yeah,
It's a great question for both of us.
absolutely.
I say, hey, man, my boy Bobby boy is warm on the seat right now, man. Warm on
To
the
answer
seat.
your question, James, Bobby should have never got the job, and should he be fired? Well,
He's saying immediately, as in, would you not wait?
he
I'm
will
assuming.
not get fired immediately, but he doesn't have, the clock is ticking. Let's put it
Should he
that way.
be?
Immediately? No.
No.
At the end of the season,
No.
you could deal all that. But
Yeah.
the thing is, they're saving face, right? Because unless you have someone that you step in to make everyone forget the nonsense you did the year before, then it's hard to go and say like, yeah, now
Not even the year before in the offseason.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, like the year before. So I'm thinking,
like you don't even have to go back to the point where it's like, oh, you didn't tank properly. It's like, hey, Pirtle.
That's what I'm saying. If you go to this offseason now, you're talking about a year from now. It's like, yeah, it was a mulligan, guys. Our bad. We're gonna try this again. And if you pick some guy, you pick some guy that was on the B list last year, and then pick him. Like if you do that, you gotta come with some like it's gotta be like like Bob Myers to make everyone forget. Like never mind, forget what you did last year. You'll have to be someone of that type of ilk for everyone to get the bad taste in their mouth of what you did for the last 12 months.
God,
yes,
this makes an amnesty rule. It really does.
But to James' point, though, it does speak to this is what happens when you talk too much, right? So when you keep on putting out all sorts of stories about how you're trying to trade X guy and Y guy and Z guy, you better be moving somebody since you made so much noise around these players. You better be moving someone. And once again, I've said this before, and I'm saying it again because I understand. I've seen no difference in the quote culture of the Raptors from Masai to Bobby. It seems like the same old stuff. Oh, we plan to do X. We plan to do Y.
Remember what Bobby said? He said, "I got Masai on speed dial if I need to." So
maybe Masai's still the shadow GM. Maybe that's what's going on because it hasn't changed one bit. It hasn't changed one bit.
I just want to share this with you. So I think we're gonna have a new sponsor for the Raptors pretty soon. Let me just share this with you guys. I found the sponsor, and this is the perfect time, for us to announce.
Sponsor, all right.
Okay, there you go.
Right.
Yeah, it's better than pizza. Or Gillette.
I'll tell you this much, man. I know you guys have gone over this already, so I kind of heard a little bit beforehand, but my mind's still blown about that Utah deal, man. I'm still shaking. It's like I had to look at that 3 times on my phone.
Yeah, because you were probably shocked that Danny Ainge did it.
Well, I mean, if Danny Ainge does make a move, like one thing with Danny Ainge, when he makes a move, he's rarely going to be on the losing end of the move. I had to look at 3 times the article. I said, no, man. It's like they had to give it up. They had to give it up Ace. Nope. They had to give it up George. Nope. The 2026 pick they got put in there. I was like, nope. That's like, what? Even Sensenbach, who's been playing great for them, they even throw him in the mix. I was like, good gosh.
I just want to get to James's second question real quick, and then we'll kind of keep it rolling. He said, wouldn't Giannis ruin the chemistry for the Knicks? Now, this is an interesting thing. I don't think that the Knicks are also going to get him, but in the hypothetical world where they did, let's just play the thought experiment.
Yeah.
Would he ruin the chemistry? I will say yes, because that's Brunson's team, and all of a sudden that changes a lot of things in that locker room.
I know someone down the street from my house right now would be very happy about that.
I mean, if you're asking me, would it be for the better? Like, yeah.
He was grousing here on Sunday here about him already again, watching the Lakers game. You go look at him just dribbling the ball to death. He can't take him. I never seen my father so down on the Knicks as I've seen in the last 2 years, man.
Yeah, so
he is just and my bad. And let's face it, we all know the Knicks have had some long years. And I never seen my dad look like this, man. It's like, yo. I said, my man said that in the dark ages, he said, weren't you just like 2 games from the finals last year? Like, what are you talking about? He goes, man, don't mind all that. Like, don't mind all that.
How they
He's still gross about the 5 picks for Bridges, by the way. Exactly. He's still gross about that. Every time he sees him, literally on my house here on Sunday, he's still gross about the 5 picks, man. He can't get over that.
It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
The Knicks would have had Giannis today had they not made that Bridges trade.
Well, the answer.
I don't know about that.
I think he would have been a Knick. Yeah.
If they didn't make what deal?
If they didn't make the Bridges deal, I think he'd be a Knick today.
Oh, if they didn't make the Bridges deal, that's fair.
I think to go back to Kenyon's point for James' question, I think in a way that would be a good thing for the Knicks because You know my philosophy. I don't think unless you're a special type of player, you should have your engine, your top dog, be your point guard. Those teams don't usually win championships. So unless you're
Steph, he's the only
unless
one.
you're Steph or Isaiah Thomas, look who the people we're talking about. Like unless you're one of them two.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Steph and Isaiah, that's it. That's the list.
That's the list. So with all due respect to Brunson, he ain't getting the cut. So when I see that, it's like, yeah, to kind of Kenyon's point, to kind of reorient the team the way it probably should be built to be the most successful. Yeah, Giannis should be the number one option and let Brunson play off of him. And in some ways, I don't think it would ruin the chemistry. I think it would improve the chemistry. And in some ways, that's why I said my dad would like it, because my dad's sitting down there just tired of all these Villanova boys out here and just fuming about it every night. So he would love to see Giannis in there. I don't think 30 and 12 is always good to figure out chemistry. I got no problem with
that.
Yeah.
And honestly, Brunson going 1-5 in the playoffs is probably not going to work for very much longer.
No. But also, here's the thing: he never needed to do that. So,
right, and that's my dad's point. Right, Kenyon said there. That's my dad's point. He goes, "You got a man from."
You actually have legit players on your.
Yeah, that's what you're literally speaking my father's voice right here, because literally saying that. He said that on Sunday. He goes, a man from Brooklyn scoring 20 plus a game, and some nights he get like 6 shots. Just fuming.
So did you? Will asked if you heard or read Grange's piece. I know, I haven't read it yet, but I was speaking with Will before. So did you read it or anything like that?
For the Grange, no, I haven't read Grange speech, but Grange is the man to listen to for the next 48 hours.
Basically, you mean his videotape of Pirtle at practice?
Well, but even that though, in jest, he is the mouthpiece for the C-suite. So when you hear Grange saying them things,
I will get to that in just a second.
Yeah,
the Pirtle part, but
to your point, part's already making me laugh.
He is the mouthpiece for the C-suite. However, he also talked about how if they can't get a deal, what might happen.
Ooh, now you boy, that's what you call he's setting up there for a cliffhanger. Exactly. Next,
Mobo's gone. But actually, that was literally it.
Mobo's gone.
It'd be either they dump Mobo or battle.
No, I thought it was something more entertaining than that.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's that.
Like, tell me something. I was like, really?
Look, I saw those videos today, and Pirtle looked like he was a Bena. It's about to split. So
So this is Will just giving you some quotes from it. So basically, yeah.
Yeah, and Grady too. By the way, he's taking all their minutes.
Yeah. I don't mind CMB taking those minutes though.
No, I don't. Yeah, so get rid of him. Why would it matter if they get just if they want to get into the tax, then that's what they should do.
But this is something that Kenya's mentioned a ton of times, and I've discussed as well too. I even think you mentioned it as well, Mouth as well too. Why does it take this organization so long to actually come to a decision on somebody?
Always.
I mean, as much as Kenya's joking about the Mogbo stuff.
That's literally what he said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's not even something that's really. I know that's not even something that's like.
You could just do it. Why don't you just?
I have joked about the Bobo stuff, but
yeah, that's an earth-shattering move. It's like, yeah, that's what you should have done pretty much like since the offseason. The moment you drafted the kid, Mobo was done. We all knew it. It's like, well, that's enough of that experiment.
So here's the thing, right? To interact with this for a bit, whereas the person said, I would say that making no deal is better than making a bad deal. I agree with you, but what I will also say is that they do have to make a deal, and part of it is I gave my list of what they need to do. They need to get rid of either that Pirtle contract, they need to get off of it, or the Quickly deal. That should be one of the highest priorities moving forward. It doesn't matter like whether it works out, whether you beat the teams in front of you or not, but you need to that is a priority.
I think based on the circumstances they're in right now, if they were able to trade for a center and be able to get rid quickly in the same deal, then I would say that would be almost like I would say, hey man, get the streamers out. It's like 4th of July or New Year's Eve. Like, woo!
I don't see that happening though.
No, I know I don't see it happening.
But yeah, so
I agree. It's either gonna be RJ out the door or it's gonna be Pirtle and stuff that you don't want to get rid of just to get off the contract. And I hope they don't take that third option.
Yeah, I agree. Next thing, Bulls made another deal. Jaden Ivey, Mike Conley, Pistons receive Kevin Huerter. Now, I don't think the Bulls are done here, but Mouth outlined his point. He's like, I don't know what they're doing.
No, let me get the Bulls. I'll tell you what they're doing.
No, I did call, though, and I said this to Beyond. I don't know if you'll remember this last year, but I told him that Detroit was going to trade Ivy because they're not going to pay him.
We saw that trade happening a long time ago.
No, but I think Beyond was thinking they might keep him, but I didn't think it was.
I think they might give it a little more time, but if you were trying to get yourself a front court player, which actually I think Sarge is in the deal too, is he not?
I believe is Sarge.
No, I think Sarge actually. I have to double check, but I thought Sarge actually got flipped again. But let me double check.
Jeez, Pete, got flipped already.
Let me double check on that. He might have gotten
no. Sarge is heading to Detroit.
Because Sarge to me is really the key part of the trade. Okay. I would be shocked because what I've said all year is they need one more big on that team. And
you expect Sarge to play though?
I expect them maybe to give me 10 minutes. That's all I'm asking for.
Well,
that's all I want.
So 5 minutes ago, could the Pistons be preparing for an offer for for Miles Bridges?
Miles Bridges? Why?
I don't
know. Yeah.
Why?
Keep in mind, this is just it's just me seeing the stuff rolling.
I got more wings I know what to do with. Why am I moving?
I think in terms of Detroit, the thing that is under the radar that you haven't talked about as much is they kept Duncan Robinson, but they got an upgrade on what he provides.
Yeah, but okay. I hear what you're saying, but here's my concern about moving Ivy with this deal. This is the part I'm concerned about. When we get in the playoffs, just like last year, and the games start getting tight, and they start blitzing Cade, I don't have another dude that can make a play. At least even last year, I had
Dennis. You don't trust Tobias Harris?
And Tobias played well in that series, so I'm not even trying to kill Tobias. What I'm saying is Tobias ain't that type of player where he can put the ball in his hands and make a play.
What about Red Velvet? You're not digging Red Velvet?
God bless Huerter, man. Like this ain't 2019 or 2020 again with Atlanta, where he went off in that series where him and Trey, going to Eastern Conference Finals. Those days are long gone. So no respect. That ain't this. Yeah. What I'm saying is I'm talking about a dude that can get buckets when guys are all over him. These are not these type of dudes. And I'm very concerned about this trade from that perspective. That's why going back to Mouse point, why I was more concerned about letting Ivy marinate a little bit, because I want to see what these two can do. Because to your point last year, I think we talked about the other day, Kenyon, I had to depend on Dennis last year for that role.
You did.
Yeah,
exactly. I did. It was Dennis.
You did.
That's a drop off. It was Dennis last year, so I'm back to where it was last year.
Dennis will do his best to show up.
Dennis pick me, boy. Dennis got no problem being the first man up.
He's going like this, and people are like, nah.
You know what's interesting about Ivy Beyond, and I'm not comparing the two players, so don't yell at me, but he kind of got Grady Dick this year. Like his minutes are half, his points are half, everything cut in half.
No. He came in and was injured.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
what
happened.
He's only started 2 games and everything's cut in half. So
because they started the year, he came back in like December-ish, I think. It was late. Like he came back not that long ago. And all of a sudden it's like you're rolling. Do you just pop him into the starting lineup? Probably not.
Probably not, right? So that's probably why he got traded, no?
But Mouth, I see your point from a standpoint from a comp in this case is where year before Ivy had probably arguably his best season.
Yeah.
Right? And at times he was carrying the team when Cade wasn't there. So you're thinking hey man, coming this season, we ready to roll. My man, Batman Robin, we doing our thing. And then you come back and wait a second. The dude just showed up last week, so he would play in this case here the role of, I guess, on our team it would be the role of I guess in theory it would be Mamu, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But I'm trying to find someone that kind of just showed up in this case. But let's say, who's he? I guess Mamu to some extent would be the person. And all of a sudden you're sitting there going like, wait a second, I'm losing minutes here. Last year I popped, and now I'm getting this. So I'm scratching my head like I'm getting half the minutes. You know? So in some ways his is even worse because he got hurt. It wasn't like in this case he was like Brady had some bad play. It was just like I just got hurt. You know?
I mean, I can understand that, but yeah, like I think unfortunately he played 30 games last year. So I know you say that he carried them, but it's just like it's not even a full half a season.
No,
and then all of a sudden you're not showing up until like he just crossed the 30 game threshold barely. And so I agree. I thought if he didn't get hurt, I think that they would have played this year out and then made the move and made the decision then. But I think unfortunately for Ivy, it's just one of those things where the circumstances just made the pathway what it did.
Exactly, and I think this is to your point. I think it was the Pistons to think of. Mel,
I do want to get to the Bulls because I asked you about the Bulls.
Yeah. That
the Bulls. I don't know.
He needs to go with the Bulls, but to you finish up the Ivy point, I think the thing with Ivy is that, to be fair, the Kenyon's point and what Detroit's saying is like they made their assessment quickly. They're saying like, you know what, we had because if you think about it, he's been hurt 3 straight years actually.
Yeah,
I think I think even the year before he was hurt. So they're like sitting there going like, you know what, we can't keep going down this road where this dude's hurt like all the time. And I think they say let's just move off it now while we can, and try to get what we can for him now. So they made their assessment like it's not that he's a talented player, it's that he's never available. So, and that's a fair point. So I'm not saying, all I'm saying is that you better have a backup plan if you're going to trade him. And I don't know, there's another trade for them to get something else.
You guys got something else. You're going to like this. This flew under the radar for that deal. You all, the Detroit Pistons that is, got a swap with Minnesota for this year.
Yes. I forgot about that in the fine details. Yes.
So as it is today, you'd be moving up the draft, going from 29 to 23rd.
Yeah, 6 spots exactly.
6 spots.
Yeah.
So you're now in the mid-20s.
Yeah. I didn't like that part of it. No two ways about it. You can start doing some damage there. You put a player in your pick now. It's like, But I don't even know if Detroit needs to even go that far. I think even moving 6 spots with the roster they have in this type of draft, you can have a guy who can be a serious rotation player next year.
I think it's a great move. It's a great move.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's my thing with Detroit. I just need another playmaker, and it leans one thing now. It puts the ball in the hands of what they see from Holland, or I don't think Thompson. I agree with you on that one, Kenyon. I don't think Thompson's he's gonna make that jump. I think they think something of Holland. And I think Holland might be the guy they're gonna focus on to take those type of roles in this case here, because we'll go return to Robinson. But let's get the midway.
Yeah, because even James is asking about Kobe White. So yeah, what are the Bulls doing? Because you said you could make sense of this. Let's hear the explanation.
I can't make sense of it. So go ahead.
We had a little talk Kenny and I had about a week ago, and I said it might have been a week ago. It's like about a few days ago we were talking about this. In this case, we have to talk about both. And I said, you know what? I mean, I can see him moving off of Kobe White. And he was like, what? It's like, I said, ever since you showed back up, Chicago can't win a game, it seems like. So it's like, at some point, it's like, maybe you're the problem, right?
So I said something that I said to you, and I said it online here, but I'll say it again. I think he's, in some ways, like a better, taller version and cheaper version of Quickly.
Yes.
That's not necessarily what everyone wants.
Yeah.
From
he's
that
a score
position.
First dude. Yeah, he's a score first guy.
He's got some talent though, but
yeah, definitely, man. Hey, good Tar Heel boy, man. So you know me already. I got no problems from that standpoint. The back of the row, I got you. But when I see him, it's like I'm sitting there going I watched some of the Bulls games when he came back. I remember watching the first game when he came back. He get 30, and yet they still lost the game. I'm like, couldn't guard his own shadow. I mean, I'm just sitting here shaking my head yo. And I think they made the decision that, you know what, if we're going to do that, which is the point I was making to you the other day, is we can get, quote, point guard play from Giddey. We don't need that. So like, you know, and he's giving me like 20 a game. So like, why am I worrying about that? And we could develop some of the other guys that could give me scoring as well too. So I think he was in some ways, you know, dispensable in that sense. I don't mean in a cruel way, but I think they looked at their roster and thought so. The other part of it is that Chicago's always in Chicago. Chicago does not want to tank. Chicago will never tank.
Not fully, anyways.
No, Reinsdorf ain't doing that again, boy. Let me tell you something. Ever since he bought that team, he's like, I've been through that once. I ain't going through it again. And Chicago will never try to tank if they can. So they're always going to make they're always going to make a play as if they think they're a big player, and everyone's going to be scratching their head afterwards, like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, Mike. I think Ivy is good because it kind of gives them someone who can kind of come along, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Exactly. I think the other thing for them, they're going to move off Kobe White somehow, some way. Ayo Dosunmu is a restricted free agent. I think that they move off him as well, to be honest, at this deadline. Mm-hmm. I know some people have compared him to. He's like more of a combo guard. I'm not really feeling it. Ivy and Matas, as Coach pointed out, really good pairing.
And they can play off the ball too.
They can. Do they want Pirtle? Well, Coach, we will get to that, but there is a world where they might want Pirtle. But before we get into that, there's who is the other person? Mike Conley. So Mike Conley provides them with both a point guard, but also a veteran's presence. And say what you want about Mike Conley, wherever he is, he leaves a really good impact.
Yep, he can play, man. And he's like a true old-fashioned point guard, which is like, you know, it's like seeing a dinosaur on Young Street.
I mean, if we got Mike Conley here, it's not going to happen. But if we did, like this past year or even before, when the Wolves got him, I was like, oh, okay, that would have been very, very interesting because
he would actually make, you know, Darko's bad offense function properly for a change. He actually was like, oh, we're actually almost a top 15 offense all of a sudden now. It's like no, it's just because we got Mike Conley. That's all. That knows what the hell he's doing.
Yes. So kind of moving to the next, because again, the way that I'm moving here is kind of working backwards in time. I think right now is a good time to briefly talk about Giannis, and I think where that's kind of heading. Now, I put something out on what was the app formerly known as Twitter, and I basically said, hey, Giannis is probably going to be a Wolf in the next 24 hours. I'm not sure where you guys land on that, but yeah.
All I'll say about that is that I think the Bucks are overplaying their hand a little, because now they're saying they're submitting counter offers to the offers that have been given to them. They better be very careful, because if you overplay your hand, teams are going to say forget it, and you're going to be stuck with a guy who doesn't want to play for you. But you go ahead, Dion.
I mean, I think they'll move him. He's Giannis, so they always have that in their back pocket. But you don't want to get too greedy a little bit. But yeah. I think because of who it is, they could probably squeeze that orange pretty far before they have to pull back. And I think the fact that they got the right team, because to be honest with you, I don't want really anything from Miami. Really, like, I'm not really. If I'm Milwaukee, it's like Miami. Ugh. And then who's the other team that was in the mix before them?
It was like Miami, Golden State, I think.
Golden State. I mean, Golden State's better for the standpoint. I know you're not a Kuminga guy, but if I had my choice between the packages, I take the Golden State package to some extent or the Miami package. Yeah. I'm not saying both of them in this case here, but the Minnesota package, that's a little more intriguing in this case, because now it's
you get someone who's ready to go, especially if it's
exactly
McDaniels.
Right. I mean, Milwaukee paid a lot of money for that team in this case here. They're not sitting there going like, you know what, do we want to be that bad that long? So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Minnesota's got some picks to work with, so it's not a bad deal. And for the Minnesota side of things, I think this is the fantastic move if they can pull it off. If they're able to do it and somehow still keep McDaniels, that would be almost like, that would be fantastic. Because like if you had like him and Giannis, McDaniels, I don't know which guy would go. Would it be Gobert or Randall?
Probably Randall. I don't see Gobert going to Milwaukee and that making sense.
Right.
As easily.
Is weird. What a weird fit that is.
Sorry, say again.
Gobert and Giannis together is kind of a weird fit.
But Giannis doesn't want to play the center. That's the thing. And you can figure out a Gobert deal later on.
But neither one of them. Like, I don't know how you played them together, Like that's the thing.
You
Yeah,
could, you could,
go ahead.
yeah. No. You go for it.
No, I'm just thinking where Mouth is coming from is like I don't think we've ever seen Giannis really play with a center that stays around the rim. He's
Yeah.
always had a guy could spread the floor in some form or fashion.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
what would that look like?
So I think that's where like there is a potential for a third team to kind of swoop in here. Now, I know some people have suggested that the Raptors get Gobert, but I don't know how the Raptors are getting Gobert. I guess the argument is, well, you swap him for Pirtle, and Pirtle won't play, so you don't have to worry about spacing because the guy won't play because he's all the way on the bench.
That's a good point. I mean, if no. If from the Milwaukee perspective, they want to take on Pirtle's contract to some extent.
Yeah.
But the problem is you signed him to the extension. That's the killer. If they just played the contract out, this would be such an easier trade to make with so many different teams. But no. Bobby just got to get ahead of himself and start giving folks extensions. Like he out here like Oprah, you get extension. Like, no, you don't need to do that.
So Will, sorry to interrupt you, beyond, but Will, I don't think that they ever went. I think we're out there. Can you spare some change? Can you spare some change, sir? I think we are trying, like, that's why I think if Bobby is smart and he is trying to get a deal done, I'm not saying that you got to be the first one to pull the trigger on deals, but these deals are moving fast. Like one of the, just to go back a point about James Harden, the fact that it was like James Harden wants out, 2 days later, James Harden is traded. Or like not even like 24 hours later.
I literally have been out of the loop. Who did he get traded to?
The Cavs.
Yes.
You got traded to the Cavs?
Yeah.
I've been off for
right? Broken news.
Hey man, I have a family sometimes, so I'm sorry in this case here, man. I was actually talking to the children, making sure they're still alive and they're okay, man. I didn't know Harden actually got traded by the time I got home. Like, are you serious?
Literally, because we were talking very briefly earlier. Literally, like around that time, like actually before then, to be honest, we just didn't get a chance to get to that there in the conversation. But yeah, Harden got traded.
Yeah, I was in transit, as they like to say at that point.
So it was Harden for Garland and a second rounder.
Yes.
Oh wow, a second rounder from Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, okay.
I like it. I like it. By the way,
it makes sense for both teams. I think.
Sorry.
He's thinking.
No. What did you just say, Reese?
I said it makes. I said before it makes sense for both teams because they have problems. They got to, I just think it makes sense.
For I put it like this. Before I think this is actually before even Mouth came out. I said for the Clippers it makes sense because they have a pivot point now, right? For the aggregate, not looking like in the long term, but in the aggregate, you look at a team like the Cavs. And now the thing that you always complain about that Mitchell doesn't have someone to go along with them from a scoring standpoint, you now have someone that can.
Yeah, here's the problem. They pick the one guy. In this case, it turns into Casper when it gets to springtime. That's the problem.
And I said this before beyond Team
That's
One.
the problem.
No. I don't disagree with you guys. Yeah. All I'm saying is he has the ability to punch up. Those other guys don't have that ability.
Oh no, his problem is not punching up. He's there. The problem is he's shrinking. Yeah. That's the difference. That's the problem.
His problem is his real problem is when the going gets real tough.
Right.
He pack up and go and take his, as they say, his Georgie bundle.
Yes.
5 for 20 for both players. You're gonna get blown out.
Yeah, man. The one dude. And the other thing with him too is that
I still like it.
Yeah, the other problem they don't address, which is the other thing, is that team is soft as Charmin, man. And James Harden ain't one to really kind of get his chest in there to kind of get his grill in and stuff. So
he's a strong guard, but yeah, his points are still at like the rim. Yeah, but he's a 98th percentile offensive player. So
yeah, I'm not talking about his game. I'm talking about his mentality. That's what I'm talking about, right?
Like the defense doesn't matter. To be fair, they do have, like, at least as of today, they still have Mobley and Jarrett Allen. I'm not saying like maybe it hasn't worked entirely this year, but at the same time, I think that they can field a decent defense behind them. I think that's the argument.
Yeah.
But and remember, they also got Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
Dennis won't let James quit.
Dennis might be taking them
Father.
shots. That's my
Yeah,
concern.
he might be taking them
Man.
shots.
It's game 6 on the road. And Dennis,
He's
I
like, you
don't
gonna quit? He's like, give me that.
If I'm them, I'm not trading Jared Allen if I'm them, because if they trade Jared Allen and they leave it up to Mobley to be the defender by himself, that's not going to work out.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it really depends. Like, okay, here's a good example. I'm not saying that this is an ideal that's even floated out there, but if hypothetically you replaced Jarrett Allen with like an OG Anunoby or with like Jaden McDaniels, there's an argument there, right? Now they're not doing that.
No,
so that's
they're
not
not.
really part of the discussion, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
I don't
guess
think
I'm
they
just-
can trade Jared Allen.
So I just want to get to some quick rumors.
Go ahead, man.
Mathurin is being rumored as someone who will probably find a new home shortly. So that is interesting.
What are the
And
Pacers doing?
I think that they're just trying to, number one, I don't think it really matters because they have their pick. So they already kind of made that ultimate move. But I think they're just trying to kind of like get their ducks in a row, and probably looking like I've heard that they are looking for like a Daniel Gafford or a Yves Missi type of player to get in their so they're not reliant on like Jay Huff.
So yeah,
He's been good for them though. I'll say that.
He has been, but I mean, you got to look long, like 3 years down the road. Are you going to keep Jay Huff when he's on the Mamu special?
Yeah,
but this is actually a brilliant move by Indiana in some ways, right? This is what I'm talking about. Quick
to
assessment.
move Mathurin, you mean?
Yes, because going back to our Ivy discussion, he's also in the same boat. Where A, he's never healthy, and B, I think there's always a bit of a friction with him and the coach, where it comes to minutes. And when you're looking at the team this year, this is what the answer Mouse question, what are they doing? Is what they're doing is we're sliding out a slot for Mathurin to insert top 10, top 12 pick this coming year. That's the dude that those minutes up.
I mean,
that's what
there's an argument that we'll see how good the person is, but there's an argument that depending on who it is, sure. Like if your team's really good, maybe you keep it rolling and that the person can come off the bench for a short period of time because you do have Halliburton and Nembhard, but that person's probably going to be they shouldn't be behind Mathurin as well.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, to your point, to use your example, essentially, what if that person ends up being one of these top 5 picks, and say they pick the kid from Kansas, right? And so they pick the kid from Kansas, and he's there.
Oh, Peterson?
Yeah, and he's there, right?
Him and Hallie would be nuts.
What's what I'm saying, right? So now, what you're setting up now, you're essentially setting up young Kobe, right? Where it's like, hey, now obviously no one's like Kobe from a personality standpoint, where he's pretty much telling Van Exel and Eddie Jones, it's been fun, fellas. Time for you to go, right? But that's essentially the clock is ticking for them boys, okay? Right?
Well,
so
here's
Matthew
another one.
We're in that spot where it's like, you boys, it's been fun for you boys, okay? Just tell you right now.
Here's another one, right? So like they've relied really heavily on a guy like Aaron Nesmith. And Nesmith is good, but Nesmith he should really be more of a backup rather than in their starting lineup and doing things. You combine that with the fact that Jarace Walker is okay, but he's kind of like, I would say he's a variation of CMB, but I would take CMB over him. But it's similar type of starter pack from a body standpoint.
Right.
So Mathurin, I think they were hoping that maybe he would slot in at the 3, but he's closer to like 6'6", maybe 6'5" at times.
He's a 2-guard.
Yeah, exactly. But suddenly you're like, as of today, they're picking 3rd, and I'm looking at Tankathon, and Tankathon says AJ Debance, although I would take him first. But AJ Debance fits real nice.
Oh yeah, like any of them dudes, right? So like, why am I wasting 25 minutes or 20 minutes on Mathurin? When in 2 years' time, whomever you're discussing is going to be way better than him if we assume that he's going to be they're going to be the players they're going to be. Year 1, he probably might end up being like some of these guys might be better than Mathurin. So like, let's move off of him. That's what I'm talking about, quick assessment. And this franchise here in this city seems like they be moving molasses. Like, yo, dude, like nothing else to see here.
Yeah.
I
So
think RJ's a great example of that. They've got to make a decision on RJ.
it is, but I think the difference with RJ is that you didn't give RJ that contract or anything like that. He
No,
was just part of the deal, right? So it's different where they have brought Matherin up.
true.
You know what I mean? I think I know why you're laughing, by the way.
No doubt, Will.
Yeah.
No doubt, Will.
Yeah. It's a battle of the soft teams. Who
A
could be
4 or
less
5
soft?
matchup that I can't wait to see.
I'll tell you though, as of today, they still probably punch up higher than us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Will's got to stop saying tanking because we never tank.
No. He was talking about Pacers.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well,
So I don't think we have to go too much further back, but
you said Pirtle, right?
Yeah. So we can talk about Pirtle. I also want to talk about Ja, but Pirtle is interesting. So we've heard that the Bulls might be willing to be that third team to take on like a Pirtle deal right now. That's probably one of the most recent things. So it sounds like Sacramento wants no part of that Pirtle deal. And it doesn't sound like we want a lot of stuff from Sacramento anyways. I know a lot of people are trying to force feed this like Malik Monk type situation. I don't think the Malik Monk experience is going to be as good as people think it is. I've said for a long time, no, he does not run an offense. He is like I'm sorry. I love my Kentucky guards. Okay, I really do. I really do. I like you guys know I love my Kentucky guards. You got to go with one that is closer to being a point guard than a combo guard.
Hey man, let me put it this way: to take an old baseball phrase, man. They talk about my Latin American fellas, man. You don't walk off the island. When it comes to Kentucky, you don't pass off. You don't pass out the bluegrass state. Okay.
It's like I would love Tyler Hero.
That boy's the gunning boy.
Yeah, Tyler Hero would make you better, but it's like okay, just naming the guards. Shea obviously is Shea, so no disrespect there. But Hero, Maxey, you're like
my dad was ready to have my dad suggested the Kentucky guys versus the rest of the league as the All-Star game. And I said, oh shoot, you got about 4 of them in there right now. I was like, you're right. If AD was healthy, you would have a 5th man right there easily.
I mean, even with the big men, they've had some really good big men.
I had forgotten Booker for a second. I was like, oh shoot, you're right. Sorry,
Booker. Yeah, Booker. There's another Kentucky guy. They even had Boogie at one point.
That's right. They had Boogie.
So they've had some.
So regarding Pirtle, Kenyon, like to me, it seems like the Raptors are going to have to trade 1 pick to get rid of the contract and another pick for the player. That's what it feels like to me. That they're going to have to spend 2 first-rounders to get any sort of deal with Pirtle done, and I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go into the whole pick packages. That's what I'm trying to stay away from with these conversations.
Right.
Yes, there is, depending on who it's going to, why, who, what, where, when, why, and whatnot. There is a world where yes, you might be having to give up 2 picks. Now, if it's just 2 picks to dump Pirtle, I wouldn't do that. I think this might be a bit of a different situation. There is an argument that it might be worth it. What I've seen, though, was quite interesting. Now, I don't know, but I've seen some people try to figure out a deal where you're bringing in, say, Ja and Sabonis, but you're able to get off IQ and Pirtle all at once. Regardless of the picks, what do you think about that? It's intriguing to me for a specific reason, but yeah. Well, you're shaking your head. I'm going to go to you first, and then I'll go to Beyond.
First of all, I don't think that's possible. Secondly, I wouldn't do it.
It worked on Fanspo. So.
I saw it. I actually saw the deal. I wouldn't do it. To me, look, I wouldn't have traded for BI. So I'm at that point now where it's like
you're here now, right?
No, I understand, but I'm not going to.
IQ with like a DeLorean, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to yes, I'd like to get off IQ and Yaka Pirtle. But do I want to trade 2 firsts and to get Ja and Sabonis?
I will get to this comment in a second because I will explain because there's a specific reason why I would do this deal.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yes, we're the worst 3-point shooting team in the league, and Josh shoots 20%. So add that to Scotty, and that's not looking too good.
This team's ready, boy. So ice pack.
And I'm not the biggest Sabonis fan.
That's why I would do it.
So, yeah, unless
I have ulterior motives. Beyond knows my ulterior motive. Beyond gets it.
Listen.
That's why he's cracking up.
I know what Kenyon has up his sleeve, but that's not what the Raptors are thinking if they make this
right.
So no, I'm not a fan of getting a worse shooting, more expensive team. No.
You're not into it. No. Now I will say it's must see box office TV for multiple reasons.
Sure.
Beyond your thoughts, real quick.
Oh no, man! Please, after you, my friend.
So let me explain why you would do this. Okay, the reason why you would do this is because you have just escaped all of your problems. Okay, and then you fire your GM and you move on to a new GM and you do things properly. And in 2 years, you have like $150 million coming off the books. That's really why you do this.
Okay, I'm not against that. I'm not against that.
Like it's just like, listen, take the trash out.
Okay, but hold on now.
I know that the garbage chute is closed. You got to go downstairs. You got to go and take it out.
Very important though, Beyond.
Stinks a bit down there.
Very, very important though. Are we taking out just this trash, or are we getting rid of the other trash, which is the coach?
That goes along with it too. You get a new GM. If you get a new GM, you get a new everything.
It has to be everything. It can't just be
no GMs. No GMs keeping this coach. Okay, no GMs.
No, just like no. There's
everything. All right.
Like the second when you say you get a new GM, everything is on the table below it. Because no one's going to take on a GM job and say, "Hey, you can't change the coach. You can't change this. You can't change that. You got to keep everyone where they are." Well, then you should have kept the other guy.
Yeah.
Sound familiar?
Yeah. Well, that's what we did.
Yeah. So if you get a new GM, I think that it changes a lot. I to be perfectly honest, I think that there's a chance that I don't think Ja is explicitly out of the running for being a Raptor, but I doubt that it happens.
I couldn't believe that the trade actually worked. That's the part that just shocked me when I saw you. I was like, wait, this can actually work? Considering all the constraints and all the constraints they have on all sorts of stuff. Like, oh my gosh, this, of all deals, this one's the one that works. It's like
yeah. Now, the argument for Ja is, aside from his idiosyncrasies off the court, is, and aside from the fact that he can't shoot, you would hope and pray to the Lord Almighty that maybe, just maybe, he could shoot 31% again. And then you're hoping that at least the athleticism is still there. But ultimately it comes down to this, is that he is going to be a better playmaker than what you have. There's no question about it. And it doesn't matter, right? Like he can punch into gaps that just frankly your guy cannot. And when he does play, he's a hell of a lot more exciting. Now, moving him aside, because I don't think that that's the more likely thing. I think the Sabonis thing is more likely. I think if you get Sabonis, even if Quickly's still here, the idea is that you can reorientate your offense around like a true Darko gets his wish. He gets to the hub, right? And then you work it around the hub, and it doesn't work because you still don't have the right personnel. But you know what? It looks good enough to end the season. People are happy. You get your tail kicked in in the playoffs, and everyone goes home moderately happy except for Keith Pelly. And you move off Pirtle's deal, because when I looked at Pirtle's deal, and I was talking to a friend earlier, and he was like, "Oh no, Pirtle only has like 2 more years left," and I was like, "It's 2030. The extension hasn't kicked in.
4 years, man.
Jeez. You know, but hey, James, my whole point is that if it goes bad, it goes bad quick. I am an arsonist. I am pouring gasoline on the fire.
let me, because I'm just gonna play devil's advocate.
This is the Manchurian Candidate. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
James.
Let me throw a little devil's advocate here, man. Because only 2 years ago, John Morant might have been considered to be a top 15 player in the game. So let me throw this the other way. I think some guys sometimes when they're just in a position,
He says not having to watch IQ run fast breaks would be nice.
that would be nice. Yeah, I agree. I think the thing is with Ja, like the talent, I think is still very incredible. I think some guys are just like when they're in a position where they just are just unhappy with it, or you're not going to get the best out of them. And sometimes
you're not. This is not the best Ja and not the best situation for Ja.
Right, the fresh start. It's like you might be surprised with what you see. So that's all I'm saying from that perspective. I think because even I think it was last year when they made the playoffs. I think it was last year when they made the playoffs, or the year before.
I think the year before, and you also start having to ask yourself like, because if Ja goes and Triple J go and they play better elsewhere, you got to start pointing at your finger at management.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because Triple J I think is going to be great over there in this case in Utah. And I think
people say the same thing about Dylan Brooks, right?
Well, I was going to give another guy, my man out in Orlando right now, who could have an All-Star berth this year, right? Like, so I'm just, who's always played well and being consistent with them. I'm just saying to myself, like, maybe there's a little more to it than just like, okay, yes, the gun thing, but let's face it, when it's all said and done, as bad as it might seem, like we're all big boys and girls here. We see a lot worse from athletes, like in the bigger picture. So let's slow it down here, man. Like, ain't no one murder nobody like that. Like,
But I don't think that we're actually going to get Ja. I just want to have a little fun here.
Well, I'll say this much: we all know in 48 hours he's not going to be in Memphis.
Where do you think he's going?
Oh boy! I mean, I thought in some ways the Clippers was a possibility, but now that's dead.
That's dead, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's they're going to find some. Oh boy, who would be a team that would kind of like see Toronto
teams that you see what I mean? It's like, unfortunately, the guys that you don't really want are guys that you can use in Toronto.
Yeah, like Toronto actually is probably the closest to the most ideal team because everyone else
actually does happen where we get both. How funny would that be?
Yeah, it's true, but like because every other team for the most part is a fairly competent team. Oh my gosh, man. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, holy smokes, man. I'll be at each other's throats by about week 2, man. It's like, holy cow. Like, I tell you this much. If that team
it would either go incredibly well or really bad very quickly.
Yeah, but I think in that sense, this is what will happen, probably. Scotty will probably take about 12 shots a game. The fan base will go crazy about why he's only getting 12 shots a game. Ingram's still going to get his shots up. Sabonis will do what Sabonis do, but he'll probably hit his shots off of just rebounding. So he'll get a few shots, but he'll pick up all the shots, the Moses Malone shots, and before you know it, he's got 13 shots in the game. He gets fouled about 6 times, and before you know it, he's got 18 points, right? The guy that will suffer the most from a scoring standpoint will be Scotty. Because, and Morant's a pretty good point guard from a point guard standpoint. I think people don't see that with him. They think he's like all scorer. He's not that, actually. He actually runs from a point guard perspective, he can set guys up pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I keep saying, like, listen, like, it's just in terms of him, just to focus on him for a second. Yeah. He would be a lot better than Quickly. I know people are saying like again, I'm ignoring the, thing and the bazooka and all that kind of silliness in terms of his actual talent and his ability. I don't think it's a long-term thing that I would want to entertain. But would it be better than Quickly? And would you get guys into spots? Would you would you hit guys in the shooting pocket? 1,000%. He can run an offense. That's for sure.
And he will set guys up. In this case, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say there's also only 2 more years left on this deal.
Yeah. And he would set guys up that struggle to finish around the hoop a lot easier, right? So
see, now you're talking yourself into the fact that it's like, okay, it might be one of those guys.
No, I feel so already because like Morant has to get moved, so I know he's going somewhere.
Oh, you think 100% he's getting moved?
Yes, if you move Triple J and you've already moved Bane, you already set the table. And you mentioned Dylan Brooks. It's like, yeah, this team is dead.
And I think Miami moved away from Ja Morant.
That would have been the other team I would say maybe at some point, but I don't think so because they want to keep their power dry to the last second with Giannis. So they're not trying to.
And even if it's not Giannis, they'll wait for the next. They want like the biggest,
the real
fish.
Deal. Yeah, they want the real deal. They want the prime. They want sirloin. They ain't trying to get no fake steak. They want the real deal.
They're going to Morton's.
Yeah, they are true. Yeah, they are truly the great big. Yeah, they're the true big game hunting like Miami. So they ain't trying to go
Yeah.
half step and stuff.
And that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still mulling over your question. I'm just trying to think who would be. You know who would be an interesting team, but that's boy. The
Oh,
personality.
that's a good point, Will. Like it's like Patrick Williams for Pearl Barrett.
Okay, here's a team I'll throw out here. But
So.
the personalities are like going to be interesting if they did it. But if they had anything left in the cupboard, they would probably need. Let me see. Who did they? I'm trying to remember because all these guys moved just now. I'm trying to think. Minnesota. Minnesota was the team I was thinking.
Would Ja fit in on the Kings? By the way.
Well, they got a bunch of guys already. How many more guards do they want?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that they have Zach LaVine? That they're. I guess if you're trying to move off of Zach LaVine or DeMar, I guess, but it's.
I guess Minnesota. I was thinking.
Yeah, but they're in the Giannis sweepstakes, man.
Yeah, that's the only thing. If they don't,
and if they get Giannis, I don't know if Giannis and
no, there's no need if you get Giannis at that point. You'll figure it out.
Like I don't know if Giannis and Ja would fit with Ant. That's a weird
no. It would
mixture of dudes.
Yeah, it would be like you miss out on Giannis and you get Ja.
See, James is getting warmed up into it. See, James, you just have to get rid of Pearl.
James, come around. Because when I see number 12, he does some things that very few players in this league can do, where he can turn a game on at a dime. And I remember that. I still remember that Laker game a couple of years ago in the playoffs, or I think he scored like 20 points straight to bring back Memphis. Like there's not guys in the league. There's like about a handful of dudes that can do this in this league. So I think to kind of give a little bit of a little bit on the Ja ledger here, which from that perspective. But I think Minnesota, if they fell out somehow, they didn't get Giannis. They would need a point guard, and they would need a guy that can create his own shot besides Ant. That's the other problem.
Dylan Brooks, Rob Dillingham, I meant.
Yeah, but John Morant's like a better version of Rob Dillingham.
Yes.
Right, and he actually has a better point guard sense. Yeah, it's like So it's like, no, I'd rather get the real thing. I want Diet Coke. I want Coke.
The nice thing too is a lot of the guys that we're talking about are. At the point where they are, their salaries are not exorbitant, and they're not on the books for a long time. I think AD is still a possibility, but I just it's probably not going to be a thing that they do. There's
one other team that's a possibility, and they have the right coach that would deal with it, and that's Houston. Since Fred is clear apparent, they've gotten better with Thompson and Young Shepherd. But boy, sometimes, man, it looks like a car crash out there on offense for Houston at times. It can get ugly sometimes.
Well, there were the Bucks. The Bucks were a team that was interested. I wonder if they could get into it with through a 3-team.
Right. Yeah.
Where Jaws ends up on the Bucks, and then you just kind of have a 3-team deal. So I wouldn't discount the Bucks entirely.
It's Minnesota, them, and Memphis figure out something.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't. I'm not gonna sit here and spend half an hour trying to figure out a trade for them.
No. But I can see no. I can see Houston in the right circumstance say, okay, you know what? We don't have anyone organize our offense. Thompson's great. He's averaging 18 a game and doing his thing.
Ja would be better than Fred at organizing an offense.
Oh, for sure, exactly right. So and Ime's the right type of coach for him, right? So they have the right type of personality and coach for him that can reach him.
And for the record, I am not a big Ja fan as much as it sounds like I am. I am not, folks. No. I'm more so just looking at like the different teams and where would he be an upgrade, even if it is an imperfect upgrade. Because at the end of the day, I mean, talent is talent. He is talented, and if he was here, if you swapped him in quickly, the Raptors are probably better overall, ignoring any off-court antics and shootings and whatever else. Ignoring all that stuff.
And the other thing too is he's a dude that's not afraid. When it gets to the person, right? And that's right now my concern with this team. I ain't sure these dudes got a lot of dudes that are built for this when this time comes, man. And like Ja, I have no doubt what I'm gonna
has zero fear.
None. He's been an outstanding playoff performer, like in his short career. Like he's no joke.
Yes. So yeah, I mean it would there's some interesting things there. Is in terms of Raptor stuff, who is the
Mhm.
more likely person that we move? Because I doubt that we are ballsy enough to go all in like in the move that I mentioned that. So
Well, Mr. Webster has set this trap up for himself right now. It will be fascinating to see what happens in the next 48 hours because he's the one that put these two contracts that he's trying to get rid of right now. And he's going to be forced to probably trade I guess the hometown boy to get out of some of this mess, which I don't think he really wants to. The mouse boy.
hometown.
Talking about RJ. I don't think he wants to move off of RJ.
Yes.
He wants to move off the other two dudes because he set up those stupid contracts for them, and he knows going to bite
Yeah.
on them, and he's got to go and bite the bullet and trade the hometown kid, and that's not going to serve well. It's like, what, you trade RJ, right? And don't get me wrong. Go ahead.
If you move off the hometown kid, then you got to get something, in return.
Right, because
sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I'm just saying you have to look at it from a standpoint, the C-suite, right, of like what they see and what they don't want in this case here is that you trade the hometown, especially if they trade the RJ and things don't go right. Oh my goodness! And then you're like, oh snap! Now that's the point where Pelly throws Bobby Webster in the bus and you get what you want, because all of a sudden the crowd turns on you because it's not the guys on X in this case are saying, oh, trade RJ. You go down the street, as I said before, and you go and get down the street in downtown or anywhere, and you see RJ jerseys. It's the folks that pay their things with their kids to go see, Scotty and RJ. That's the folks that you're dealing with. That Pelly's got to look at. It's like you traded the hometown kid for what, and we're now worse.
Yeah. So yes, yeah, exactly. But long term, I don't see RJ being here long term either way. But yeah, I do want to get to this comment. Gio, you've been here long enough. No, I don't. Like you're not new. You know that I don't believe that we're a contender. Stop. Okay, you know better. Okay. I'm just saying that they're probably going to make a deal or not. I'm not even saying that I like the deals.
Right, we're just saying what they.
And there's a reason why I get clowned on every single time I post a video. People say we're the most miserable people to ever do a Raptors videos because I'm just like, yeah, like the team's like is not going anywhere in the playoffs. So please spare me in saying that I've said that they're remotely going to be a contender. That is not words that have come out of my mouth since 2019.
Gio, you need to come on at the Beyond Locker Room channel too, man, because I literally posted that this week or my last podcast where I said I do not believe in this team. Okay.
I'm not saying that RJ has value in a traditional sense. I can't speak for Beyond. What I am saying is that RJ has the most value of those three contracts because his money is expiring soon.
Bingo. And he's at the lowest.
So that does give him value. And that's the one that has been rumored on both sides, even from like the Kings, for example, saying, we want RJ. Those are the rumors that are out there.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, me putting on my Mavericks hat for a second, my big Cowboys Mavericks hat. That's the only dude I would want in a trade as a focal point.
So I'm gonna nip it in the bud that we are not saying that we are any contenders, and we are not saying that we're not acting like RJ has a ton of trade value. The only reason that he has trade value is because he's expiring soon. But I'm also putting the dominoes of how are you going to get a trade that is rumored done, and that's the one that makes sense. So yeah.
Well
and then in terms of the Keon Ellis, it doesn't because they are at 11 players. So they actually need to make a move to come up. So it doesn't necessarily kill the thing. You're telling me that the Sabonis deal was contingent on Keon Ellis, then I like Keon Ellis, but I think he's overrated in Raptors land. But that's just me.
I don't know if I said this on your podcast or I said on my podcast, but I literally said that the only reason I think it's this podcast. I said, look, man, it's like I said, you know who doesn't believe in this team as well? Bobby Webster. That's the reason why he's making these deals. That's why he wants to make these trades. He don't believe in the team.
Yeah. So again, welcome to Basketball Rewind. I covered all this about how your floor, your defense is good enough that you can absorb Sabonis, but Sabonis doesn't answer the problems. Sabonis does not make you a contender. I mean, I could dunk on Sabonis. I've already done it. The purpose isn't to be dunking on any player though, but instead to just say like, no, a Sabonis deal is not a good deal overall. But the purpose of getting a Sabonis deal done is you're moving off of Pirtle or IQ. That is the real. I think that's to kind of bring things full circle. I think exactly, but Bobby caused this mess. I think the whole point is that you're trying to. This is Bobby trying to clean up his mess, and I'm just trying to read through the tea leaves. I'm not going to go back and forth with comments anymore. You were saying, Beyond.
No, I mean, I think the fact, no, this is the fact. The actions of Bobby tells you he doesn't believe in the team, and all we're doing is just kind of taking what we're hearing from reports of who they're fishing out there, and it's been pretty much 3 guys. Even our man Josh Lewenberg said so just a week ago. IQ, RJ, Pirtle. That's it. So like, it's like he's trying to move off of these guys, be it from a contractual standpoint or a way to improve the team. We had podcasts on this very podcast a week or 2 ago, the 2 of us, and we went through the 3 possibilities of Davis, Morant, and Sabonis, and we almost had tummy aches talking about it because we're like, oh, geez, this is the best we got, And you won't even let me dream for the third. You won't even let me dream for the third that game.
Just like how I saw, someone mentioned as, oh, well, Triple J went for a cheap price. I'm like, 3 picks is not a cheap price.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Or people who wanted Trey. I didn't want Trey. So before Gio freaks out at me, I didn't want Trey. But what I'm saying is if they wanted to get Trey, the reason that you can't get Trey is very simple. You can't get Trey because you didn't have expiring.
Yeah, Bobby set this up, man. He and his boy Masai, man. That's what you got.
Going back to Matt's comments, exactly.
Not much in the cupboard.
And so, yeah, just in terms of Yak, though, I have heard this idea that you can like rest him and then maybe next year. The thing is with backs, they don't really get better. And so, and unfortunately, this is actually a good thing to kind of put on the screen just to illuminate it for everyone. Is Yak's contractual situation. Let me just pull it up here. Because this is the reason why they want to move off Pirtle, I think. Because this kind of really puts it into into the fold. Before we go all, way off and dominate this in ways that it really doesn't need to be dominated. There we go. So I think it's on the screen. This is Pirtle's deal. This is his current deal. This is the extension. Okay? So look at what that extension kicks in and when it ends. In other words, next year, he still is not on an extension. It goes till 2030. So that is the reason why, number one, yes, to everyone's points. So, welcome. But to everyone's points, they're to get off Pirtle based on the fact that it's essentially a 5-year deal or 4-year deal. I guess we're 2026, so it's 4 years now. You are looking at it's technically, I guess that's 5 years actually, if you think about it in total. But anyways, you're not getting off of him until 2030. We might be at the end of the Kuzma review, if that's still going on by the time that this dude is still here.
Don't talk about Kyle, by the way, folks.
Right. So no. yeah, exactly. Not that guy. The other stuff. So we that's. If the whole point is that if you can get off this money now, especially if you don't trust the back, because backs are tricky, you at least consider it. You don't just shut it down. It is going to cost you. There are limits to where I would say that it is worth it and not worth it. Like you would probably say if it's 2 picks, it's probably not worth it. And you're probably right. I'm guessing that's what you would say, Beyond, right?
Oh, for sure, because I don't think he's that good of a player. I've been sitting here while you have been talking, trying to figure out What is it that the Raptors see in him that they just seem to have like these love goggles and say, "Here, take everything for us." Whoever pearls that conversation.
Going back to the whole like trust the Messiah era and all this type of stuff, and this is where my frustration is that people forget that we had to like do this twice, like both with Damari Carroll and, if I'm not mistaken, Jared Sullinger. We signed Jared Sullinger to a deal, and then we had to trade him using a pick for a guy who left.
The Ohio State University, I think, or yeah,
so it is a deep cut for sure. So you want to know where my frustration is, or if I'm frustrated, or if I'm super happy and acting if we're a contender. That should answer it. There should be zero questions there. So, anyways, going back to this, it got me off kilter here. You were saying we were just wrapping things up. Your thoughts on where the Raptors are going? One thing, for all we know, it just might be, Mogbo, and that's it, and call it a day.
Well, that kind of leads back. I think as Giovanni made the point in this case here, when it's all said and done, if he doesn't have the the kahunas to make the move on RJ because he's in trouble with the other two contracts, then he's just going to trim around the edges. It's going to be a Mogbo, it's going to be an Ochai, which quite honestly, those things should have been done months and years ago. To be honest with me, in my mind, so like
I agree.
Yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. Where it comes to once again, the theme throughout the day is quick assessments by other teams, and we still fighting around with Ochai Abaji. Like seriously.
Yes. Now, what I will say is that if the plan is to quote unquote, if Yak actually cannot play, then just get the disabled players exemption. Stop fooling around. At least get off the money that way, so you can save some money that way.
And that's another thing when it comes to assessments, right? Like, why are we fooling around?
Yeah. So, yeah. But we'll see. One step at a time. This team does things to shock us all the time.
Not necessarily.
No. So yeah.
Your man's warming up here. Your man's warming up here. This January 19th. See Tatum warming up here.
Oh,
showing footage for January. I'm watching the Dallas Boston game.
I mean, I've been saying he's going to play. I know people.
They're warming up. The 1 foot jumper.
Warn people. Got to warn people. So you think that they'll trim around the edges?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think what's said and done. This is my whole thing with Bobby. I think he's got the gumption, the kahunas to pull off a move like that. Because when it's all said and done, I think it have to be RJ if he actually wants to make a significant move. I think he's going to do it. I don't think he's going to trade RJ. I think he actually wants to keep RJ, actually.
Yeah, but why?
I think there's a lot more going into it than just what's on the court. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough. I mean, we did see that RJ is one of the top-selling jerseys for Canadian things, so I...
You know who his daddy is? I'm just saying that
I just don't see it long term, and if you're gonna like try to hold on to that, then yeah. In terms of the reports of Bobby and an extension, there are reports that Bobby is trying to negotiate an extension, not one that they are giving him an extension. So I think he is angling for an extension for security, but there's no reports that he is getting it. Will he get it or not? We'll find out very shortly because he got the good old Bobby extension with the 1+1.
So see, we don't learn from these things again. It's the reason why he's problematic to rehire him or extend him or whatever you want to call 100%. It. Because we went through this last year with the last guy.
Yes. Because then you have to hold. Because then you have to hold back, right? And have to be like, well, hey, hold back, because I don't feel comfortable with you going for another Ingram deal or whatever. So yeah. So you don't think that he's gonna get the job done in terms of cleanup work at all?
Nope. Not based on what I've seen so far. As I said before, if you can't do the small things and be decisive on those, why do you think you're gonna do something on the bigger ones?
Yeah. And so a good example of this small thing is Ochai, or to be honest, Mogbo.
Yep. Like these guys here is like these guys are not guys. And you hear Raptor fans talk about them endlessly. Not so much Mogbo, but for sure.
You do hear some people talk about
Oh, really?
Mobo a
Oh,
lot,
Lord, help you.
saying,
God help.
"See, I never sold my Mobo stock," and it's like it's
Oh, my
Mobo.
gosh. Like,
It's
these guys are
Mobo.
like, 13, 14, 15 guys on benches.
I mean, the second that CMB got here, it's like there's no point in it. So
No, right. And yet somehow they talk tirelessly about these dudes. It's like, no, these dudes are like, these guys are bench warmers. They're sitting there holding down the bench on every other team. Like, enough, man. Like, it's like, just move on. That's I think the frustrating part of this era, be it Messiah or Bobby, man, is them, just dawdling around, as they call it, writing their white papers. I'm just over it, this whole era. And then when they come up with some great brainiac idea, it's either, yeah, we'll go get some misfitting player like Pirtle to come and join the team, which scares me to death. And that's where we end up with, where he ends up picking up a player where it's like, oh, geez, out of the blue. And you're like, this dude really don't fit what we're doing, guys. Are we?
Temple is moved before Mobo. I mean, Grange just put an article out about Mobo being moved. I actually think that in terms of Temple, you have to see Temple as a bit of a babysitter of sorts, an elder statesman. He should be moved too. I don't get me wrong, but I don't think that Temple's going.
Well, at this point here, and I'm going to give some credit to Scotty at this point. Yeah. I think we can take the training wheels off at this point. I think I feel a little more comfortable with how his.
No, but that's BI's man.
Really?
Yeah, it is actually. Actually, BI did credit him with coming.
When did BI turn to Giannis in this case, or LeBron, where he could have his brother or something?
His cousin.
Right. What the hell? What has Brandon Ingram done?
Listen. It's not about his brother or anything like that. He needs to have his lawyer present.
For what reason?
You got that, right?
Right. Now, I speak up for Brandon. You should be all right, Brandon. Especially this city. I can't speak for some other cities, but you'd be all right this city. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I just don't know what you're trading, like, Temple for. I don't know.
Temple speaks of the perfect one I'm talking about, right? Temple would not be on anyone's bench. I mean, anyone's serious.
Yeah, but what is the Blake Murphy show going to do without Temple? Temple showing up on every so often. That is the thing, right? Like, it's like I really, going back to the Mobo thing. Yeah, we should move off those guys. Do I think that they're going to move off Temple? No. Temple might be here next year.
That's so sad. That is so crazy.
You think I'm joking? He might be here next year.
No, I'm not. I know. That's why I said so crazy, because I know it's true. That's all right. No, it's the opposite. I know that's the case. I'm resigned to my fate now against Temple.
Daniel understands Temple should be wearing a polo.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Like, guys of Temple's age, like even Kyle Lowry has learned, like, you know what? My time's come. Lowry probably be like assistant coach with Nick Nurse next year. It's good, fellas. But Temple's out here collecting checks, ain't doing anything.
Yeah, and Temple with Ochai is not needed to trade with Dayron. I don't think that they even need to do that, so that doesn't make any sense. It would just, the only thing for that is it'd be Ochai and potentially would it be multiple seconds or a first? So yeah, yeah.
No, I'm just saying for Ochai, to go back to your Ochai point here, if this man's wringing his hands in this case for Ochai deals, you think you handle these big boy deals? Like, seriously?
No. So yeah. Rogers hated Rogers. Yes, he probably did. So yeah, that's a good place to end almost. Any final thoughts? Is there any deals that we didn't talk about? I know he means the Raptors. I at the end of the day, by the way, I think Rogers may not be the biggest basketball fan in the world, but you know what he really likes? This moolah. So if you are able to get the Raptors to a mediocre point and get to a playoff situation where you can make some money on national TV and make some concessions, even if they fizzle out, he'd probably be happy with that. If it just from a pure corporate enterprise, you really want to know how this guy, I don't think he's trying to burn it down. He's like, make money.
Yep.
That's not necessarily a good thing, by the way. That doesn't necessarily lead to a championship, by the way, but it does make a lot of money, make continuously being in the playoffs and going nowhere for a long time and being close enough that people think that you might have a chance, but not actually have a chance.
Yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
The amount of money you get for a playoff run is amazing. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. James, you get it. Yeah, that I agree with this. I'm in the boat of if you can get rid of one of Pirtle or IQ, and I would lean towards Pirtle over IQ because I don't think that the back is going to get any better. And it's actually a longer term contract than IQ. I think that you get off Pirtle if you can, if it doesn't cost too much. I would not overpay. I'll say that I think that there is a chance that they do end up trading Pirtle, but I think it's going to cost them, and it might end up being an overpay, and it might make Gio want to throw up, and he's not going to be alone. But yeah. Any final thoughts on the Raptors? Maybe the world's coach at all?
I got no comment on that one. As far as the Raptors go, it's gonna be interesting times. We'll finally get a sense of we'll finally see what Shaggy does, man. He'll get to put his full imprint on it, and there'll be no one else but him when it's all said and done. We'll see what he does. I am fascinated to see what he does.
Yes. What deal overall? We'll end on this. What is there a deal that you think could shock people that could be coming up?
As far as any deal around the league?
Yes.
Let's see. I think it already happened actually. I think it's that Memphis deal. I think that's the one because there was just a little. We talked about the other day. There was just a little hinting that they might move off of Triple J, and no one really took it that seriously. And like 3-4 days later, I was like, "Whoa!" So
for this trade deadline, the thing that I've loved the most is the fact that when you see some of these, you see rumors, right? So you'll say, "Oh, whatever is available. James Harden is available," and then it's
decisiveness. Yeah.
And I'm really liking that. LeBron to the Cavs. Sorry, Daniel. He just confirmed that LeBron is planning to stay with the Lakers at the end of the season.
Last time I checked, LeBron still has a no trade clause, right?
He does, and that's why he has voiced his opinion, and he is staying with the Lakers.
I think it's him. Who's the other one got the no trade clause? Like, what other guy has one?
Well, Beal had one. Huh? I said Beal had one technically, but yeah.
Yeah, Beal was the one that had one. Yeah, that's dead. But it's Beal, him, and somebody else, a third guy. But yeah. Like that's it. He's the only one. He might be the only one left. Is like no, he's not going anywhere. As far as is there anybody else out here that would, I guess the real shocker would be if they move Cat.
Yeah. Wait, did you say besides us who you think Ja is going to? I can't remember.
Yeah, I thought the two teams. I thought Houston could be a possibility.
Yeah, Houston was the one. Yeah,
and I think you mentioned another team, which is Milwaukee themselves.
Cat is interesting. I don't know where he goes if it's not part of this Giannis deal, and I don't think it is. So I don't. I think the I think that Brunson's going to just have to learn to be a better facilitator. Sorry. Just stranger things have happened.
I see my dad rolling his eyes somewhere in his house. Yeah, that's pretty much that. My man literally hate watching his own team.
Hey man, you got to do that sometimes. So.
Yeah, he's so disgusting. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, you're moving the Sacramento guards. That's not a big thing if like DeRozan got moved, which does make me think. Yeah.
Sorry, this is the other one. Yeah, I think James hit the nail on the head. As soon as Harden went there, I don't see LeBron. Like, there's no space for LeBron. FEV,
Fred VanVleet.
he would have to be part of like some sort of deal if they were going to make a move. Sorry, you were saying, I interrupted you. My bad.
No, I'm saying, yeah, like if the Giannis deal was on for Houston, to your point, he's in the deal, right? They make the money work.
Now, a deal that I would do if they were going to give up a first round pick and go for like a Yves Missi type, where it's like a second draft guy, I would actually go for Maluch. I've said it a couple times.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would too.
He's buried in their rotation.
Oh, I got my surprise guy. I know you're gonna roll your eyes, but I don't care. I'm gonna say it. You know where I'm going with it.
I actually don't know.
The third, baby. The third.
Okay, you know what? I actually thought about it earlier. I lean against it. I don't know how the hell. Well, there's ways that they can do it.
That's the surprise thing, man.
Yeah.
I woke up at 3:00 on Thursday. Also, I see we got the third and number 25 and running back.
Yeah. So and this is good to kind of piggyback off this comment because we are talking about New Orleans. I'm not suggesting that Yves is worth it. So again, please stay in with the conversation. But the key thing here is, instead I'm saying if they are going to do that move, I would say, Bobby, don't do that move and give it for Maluch. But in terms of New Orleans, if they went for, because I think it would cost pick wise what it costs, what triple. I don't know. I don't think it would go what Triple J went, but it'd be a pick heavy package, and you're not giving any junk up. Okay, let's put it that way. You're not taking Pearl. You're not taking this. You're not taking your junk. It'd be RJ plus picks, straight swap type of thing.
Yeah.
What I would say is this: in terms of the team construction, even if you have to consolidate, let's say you're adding Grady to the deal or something like that, there is a world where ignoring the picks, people, and just going through this thought experiment, I like it. And the reason why is because I don't think any of those two guys can punch up and be as good as the third can. Is he worth 2 picks of your future? It would depend on which picks. It would depend on the protections. I heavily lean against it, but yeah.
I can make an argument for it. Because if you're
make the case, make the case.
So if you said they take how Utah did it, right? And you say 27, 29, 31 and gave them that picks, you still keep your pick for this year.
FEV as the no trade. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah. Oh, that's the dude. Ironically, that's the dude. I knew there's someone else floating around there that's got no trade clause that you don't expect it. I wasn't going crazy. Thanks. Right. So
I would do Missi for like if it was like a straight swap, maybe a second. I don't mind that.
But if you told me we get the third and I give up 27, 29, 31, and I still have my 26 pick.
Yeah.
So now I have a 26 pick still. I have Scotty still on the team. And I guess RJ will be going out, right? So RJ played with his buddy out there in New Orleans.
Yep.
And I have the length of Scotty with the third. And and a guy in this case from a high level like blue chip talent standpoint, I now have someone in that neighborhood. I still have Ingram for another year or so, and I still have my 26 pick, and I got my 28 pick. I'm like, yeah, I would do it. I would do it.
You could talk me into it, is what I'll say. I'm not there yet, no 26 but you can pick for it.
That's
you can
for
talk
sure.
Me into it.
Yeah. But if it's like how Utah did where they took 27, 29, 31, yeah, I'll roll with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the third's out there, yeah, I would do it. Because if this team's struggling for shooting and scoring.
Well, especially since people are trying to talk themselves into IQ as a shooting guard. It's like, no, just get a real shooting guard.
Well, not only that, what he provides more size of the team. He provides also ability not just to knock down the three, but he can get his own shot a little bit too. He's not like a guy who's just a 3-point bomber. He can get his own shot. So like we don't have a lot of guys who can get their own shot. We need a guy who can get his own shot, man. Like it's Ingram, and that's about it. Like and I mean, at some point you're gonna need a guy who can get his own shot besides one dude. And we see how that's looked.
I think that the idea is, for me, I don't mind giving up multiple picks in the future. Doesn't have to be this year, but in the future, for them identifying the correct young talent. Now, do I know if Trey Murphy is that talent or not? I'm not as high on Trey Murphy as you are, but like I said, you could talk me into him potentially being the talent. But you get my point. Is that I understand the mentality of it. Number one, someone and ideally someone. It's hard to get these guys off a rookie scale, but at least like a guy like Trey Murphy, he's locked up long term on a deal that would be
Exactly.
cheaper than
Right.
quickly. So you're not worrying. Basically, I'm like if I were the GM, I'm trying to identify someone who is, you know, long term who could you could select, add to this core, and kind of this is now part of like your stuff moving forward. And
Yes, yeah.
and regardless of Ingram being here or not, like you have another guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Now,
Yeah.
if again, this is why I always say in all these things, when I talk about these deals, I don't get caught up. I know a lot of people want to get caught up on, well, this, 3 picks, no 4 picks, oh, well, you got to do, and you can go to like, I don't know, does Pensari do that kind of thing? Does he cover trades and he goes to the trade machine? You could do that there or whoever does that, you go there. I don't really like that because I feel like you just get caught up in a back and forth of like this pick versus that. Like it's a haggling thing, and it's just a waste of time. But it's more the overall like is that type of a imagination that you're thinking of, and it's not me trying to diss the people that do that. It just if that's your thing, that's your thing.
Right. Like I mean, I look at it this way. I mean, this goes back to the Bridges and the 5 picks, right? And this is where my dad would be frustrated. Like if you get a guy that's going to be 5 picks, you better make him a focal point of your team, right? So so if you're gonna get 3 picks for him, to your point, I'm identifying a guy who I think is lurking as a star on a bad situation, right? So in this case here, it could be a disgruntled player like how Brunson was, or it could be in this case here like James Harden is the most famous example. But it's like I'm identifying saying, you know what, this dude's averaging 22 a game right now on this New Orleans team that's barely put together a bunch of rookies. If he actually had with some competent players, what this guy would be doing? That's the way I'm looking at it. And he's like 23 years old. I'm like, or 24 years old. I'm talking about the third.
He's 25.
25. Okay, all right. So he's 25 years old. So he's not even entered his prime technically yet.
He is locked up until he's 28, which is nice.
And he's locked up. He's 28. I'm like, that dude's a dude you want to keep, and you have him there with Scotty. So they're essentially the same age. They're from the same draft, and then you go and get yourself a player from this year's draft, which will
such
be
a great draft.
Yeah.
No. I just said it's a great draft.
Yeah, it's a great draft. Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of dudes from that draft.
Yeah. He's somewhere down below with like 12 or 13. He's like, oh yeah, that dude.
Yeah, I mean, like right now he's like a 22-point scorer and all that type of stuff. He's doing really great. So, I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like, and I don't think it's a seller's market, by the way. I'd actually argue that it's a buyer's market, and the reason why it's a buyer's market is there's a lot of teams that you're seeing that are trying to get into the draft. And for that reason,
right. So if Joe Dumars has a change of heart now because he gave away his pick last year, he wants to get back them picks and then some, or at least get some pick compensation back. It's like, you know what? I'm moving off of this, and I'm moving off of Zion. I'm starting fresh with Fears, my pick that I'm gonna have next year, and of course Queen, and we're just gonna clean up the house.
Well, case in point, if you are thinking of it right, and you're like, I'm not saying that they should do that, but I want to trade my 2026 pick because in a lot of these deals you are not that have gone through today, you are not seeing 2026 picks go. If you were willing to give up a 2026 pick, you could outbid people, which is why it's a buyer's market. So a good example is that if they're not going to do it, and they shouldn't do it, but Atlanta, if they wanted to get into the mix for some of these things, they essentially have 2 lottery tickets. They have, if you add up the percentages, they have over probably a 60% chance, possibly more, of being of having a top 4 pick.
Let me ask you the value of the 2026 pick, right? Let's go back to the Trey Murphy idea of like, okay, it takes 3 picks, which New Orleans has suggested or floated out there. Say in this case, would a 2026 pick be worth 1 less pick in this case here? So what I'm saying is if it's like 2026 and then you get 2028 versus having 2027, 2029, 2031.
Oh, you're saying like 2 picks instead of 3?
Yeah, so does 2026 actually give you one less pick to give it a compensation because it's 2026?
Okay, I'll do this thought experiment, and then we will bring up the other third
Okay.
fan up here in a second. Let's just even ignore the third.
Yeah.
If you're talking about like just getting off, the challenge is that how much do you need someone from this draft? Because that Lakers pick that you still have, which is a second rounder, is not going to be very valuable. And you need a first round pick. So to really get like an answer for the thing that you want. So that's really what it comes down to, is how much do you value an answer?
Right. I put the clarion call out, and I knew Coach was short when I started mentioning the third.
You mentioned the third, and I arrive.
Exactly. The back
he says,
signal.
hold on. He says, hold on to the family. Never fear. Coach is here.
Never fear.
I'm tagging you in, boy. It's like a triple Z tag match. I'm tagging you in, Coach. Can you try to knock me off the third talk?
Yeah, I'm also trying. Yeah, but Coach, I'm gonna keep it going for you.
So are we talking about the third?
Yes. Would you give up?
Yeah,
fair,
he set me up because he said, like, hey, if someone surprised you tomorrow, I'm mulling over and said, hold on. There is one player.
I would give him multiple picks for the third. He's probably the only one I would do that for. Of all the rumored people, not Anthony Davis, not Sabonis, not John Morant. Giannis, obviously I would, but I'm excluding him from this conversation because we're not getting Giannis. It's only Trey Murphy. You have a 25-year-old, you can give him multiple picks. Why are you giving him multiple picks for someone 30? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Good point about that.
No doubt. That's the reason why
it is a gamble.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, he's not an all-star. Trey Murphy, he's never been an all-star, but to be fair, he's also been in New Orleans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
have a team every year.
Now, me personally, I really value the 2026 draft, and we've heard a lot about the 2026 draft. And stay tuned, people, because we will be getting into draft talk at some point, probably after the trade deadline. Because who knows, we might actually trade the 2026 draft. But if we don't, it is going to be draft talk around that time. I don't think 16 to 24 is the correct range, but it's probably going to be closer to 17 to, I would say, 25. The upper range you have correct. There are a couple guys. I mean, you mentioned Ben Sturtz. There's a few other guys. We won't get into those guys right now. I want to kind of keep it focused on today. But I almost use the Pirtle example. Well, actually, no. It's a bit different than Pearl. But okay, here's a question. Say you could get off Pirtle. It'll cost you 1 pick, and it's only the 2026 draft. Would you do it? I lean heavily against it. Now, this is very different. We're going to play two thought experiments.
That's the thought experiment I was bringing to you, right? Is a 2026 pick, and we're doing it currency. Is that a better currency having one 2026 pick versus like 3 of the odd number drafts? Like, what does it equate? Is one 2026 pick equal to like 27, 29, 31? Or is it like 2, like 27, 29? Like, it seems like it has more value, to your point. It has more value and like prestige than
say it's you use Will's thing. Say it's lotto protected.
Yeah,
I would consider it, but the biggest thing is Pirtle. You have to give a pick to give off his contract. That's the problem in all of this. Had there's no extension, there's no pick being given up. You're a year early with that extension.
Coach, let me tell you something right now, man. If they did that and they gave away this year's pick for Pirtle, man, I mean, I might lose my mind in this case here, man. The amount of damage that man would have done in like 6 years of this team, I tell you, it is literally an oral history that I'm asking for my man to do, because that is the unwritten story. If we were to give away the 2026 pick to get off this dude, I would say, you know what? How appropriate. We give up the Wemby draft for this dude, and now this? Are you kidding me?
Now, folks, again, stay focused. This is just a thought experiment. We know that this is not going to be the case.
You put it right in front of the bull right now, can you?
Yeah. No, but I know people are like freaking out in the chat. They're just like, oh, there's no way. It's like, no. We're just hypothetically what
I
we're
know.
actually talking about is what is the value of the 2026 draft?
Yes.
Not, hey, you give up the one pick and you get rid of Pirtle.
It's just that Pirtle's draft picks to start triggering people. I can understand their point.
Yes, yes, exactly. But folks, let's stay in it. Let's stay in it. So yeah. Yeah, okay. Gio's talking about getting the disabled players exemption for 2 years in a row for Pirtle.
Look, there's a pathway where he is back this year. I mean, Michael Grange did his best today, showing off all those videos
right.
for Bobby to send to GMs to say, hey, he's doing the Micah drill. He's all right. Go for it. Trade him.
Yeah, well, because you heard that the Sabonis deal might disappear if he doesn't play on Wednesday.
I'm not buying that. But
I think that's just posturing. There's a lot of things that are posturing this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking to get off Sabonis' money too. For the record, they don't. I listened to the Sacramento, their podcasts that they run for. This is for the team, not just like content creators, and they're enamored that some of them want RJ Barrett, but my God, they don't want Pirtle. They don't want that extension, but they do want to get off of Sabonis.
See, you see, this guy gets it. That if he's moving like that, you're not gonna. You need to have him in a wheelchair like this, right? Or him gingerly walking, like this.
No, you gotta treat him like how he went with the old Let's Make a Deal, where it's like behind curtain number 2, he's all good, folks. Trust me. You sure you want?
Yeah, and then you see someone like trying to peek under. It's like, nope.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right. You want the chicken coop Sacramento, or you get what the
touch the curtain, you gotta pay. It's
almost like Bobby and Dan saw Grange sitting in a corner today and said, "You know what? Can you show some videos of Pirtle? Because obviously we can't do it, but if you do it, then other people will see it, and we'll show that he can do a layup and a Mike and drill."
I'm just wondering, do you think that they gave Grange like a tripod? Where it's just like the red tape's all is like, hey, Grange, stand right here. All right, roll it up.
I must say, I told you guys, but I did a ton of laughing when I saw all those videos come out with Granger's releasing them 2 days before the trade deadline to say, look, he's the most he's been active in 2 months now.
Michael, man, we already know you're the C-suite mouthpiece, man, but the make it even worse to do that, man. Have some shame, man. Have some shame.
I love it too, because it was just like he's walking more crisply. I'm like,
oh God!
Why crisply?
Guys,
what kind of verbiage is crisply? I don't know who uses crisply to describe someone walking. But yeah, I've heard briskly as well. Crisply was the thing. I'm like, I don't know if crisply is a good. Sorry, about
him and Josh Rosenberg the week before, where it was like this mystery man of the GM, and it wasn't Bobby that signed these guys. I mean, these guys are doing real carry some water, man. They got some serious pails out here for this.
But it's funny though. It's so greasy. It's like the dude just came from he just jumped into a vat of this stuff. Comes out, looking like he came from a certain person's party, right? Right.
Well, Bobby wanted to make sure everyone knew why he got the extension.
Crispers and brisk. True.
I tell you, man.
And icy hot.
This Toronto media is ridiculous, man. This Toronto media is ridiculous.
Well, you get the truth when they go on the podcast. It's like Josh Lewenberg going on Will Liu and said, you know what? The Raptors have a tendency of bidding against themselves. Oh, really?
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are doozy in there too. A couple minutes later, I can't remember what you said, but you had another one. I was maybe spilled my drink. I was like, okay,
jeez.
Yeah. Michael Grange going on the Fan 590 podcast 2 weeks ago when people were talking about what's called the Quickly contract that guys wanted.
All the true CERN comes out there. Huh?
Yeah. So let's tap it in mouth and we'll kind of shift this to a close here because we've been live, or I've been live for about 2 hours.
Yes, I can't stay too much longer anyway. So
yeah.
So
mouth, yeah, that too. But before you get to any other trades that you want to propose, what do you think about the third? And would you give up multiple picks for the third?
For the third, is it just him?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like okay. I'm just tossing out people. It's a thought experiment. Remember,
Okay, so
Gio, thought experiment.
the
Big thought
the
experiment.
third.
It'd be
Okay,
RJ
so
for the third, and then you toss in picks.
okay, if I I was gonna say I want to take it greedy and add Missy, but let's just say it's for the third. Sure, why not?
Come on
I
board,
mean,
fellas.
I mean, I look at it this way. They're not re-signing RJ. Let's just call it what it is.
You sure about that,
And
Mel? I ain't sure about that, man. You sure
look,
about
I
that,
don't think
Reese?
look.
Well,
Nobody
if they're getting
knows anything.
Trey Murphy,
But
he's gone.
Yes.
nobody knows what this front office is going to do. So we're not even going to try to play that guessing game. All right. They went from paying nobody to paying everybody. Okay. So yes, they could pay RJ. But let's just say they're not going to. If I can get Trey Murphy, I would have rather had Jaren Jackson Jr. But let's just go with Trey Murphy. I'm okay getting Trey Murphy. Now, the question is, do I really want to do it for this team and Darko? No. So there's kind of like a
Oh, come on, man!
maybe
You can't
yeah,
be.
but maybe no.
No,
You
man. You got to find the talent when you get there.
You
Reese.
can't be.
I like Trey
sour
Murphy.
grapes
Trey Murphy.
just because
Okay, I know.
Darko's
Trey
here.
Murphy, but
It's still
Come
Darko.
on.
Don't worry about it. It's still Darko.
I like
don't
Trey
worry.
Murphy, but I would rather have done the JJJ trade if I was going to do 3 first rounders.
Hold on. Am I seeing someone leak a trade on here right now?
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm not seeing any. I was looking for it, but I don't see anything
Earthquake is happening.
official.
I see King shipping Devin Carter to Nets for Zaire Williams.
I'm not hearing that, but I'm looking.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
Hopefully, you get something sorted out there in Brooklyn. In this case, what comes up top, man. Seriously, those New York hairdressers.
I mean, if he is in Brooklyn, I'm not. I'm literally not seeing.
No.
that situation's a little rough up top.
The only thing is Isaiah Collier got 22 assists today.
Pick number 29, which belonged to Toronto.
Yeah, I'm not seeing this anywhere.
Yeah,
They'll go there. They'll go there.
I think what I saw is on Sports Illustrated, which, by the way, shout out to AI for writing those things. But like honestly though, is that there's some sort of like hypothetical deal on there where it would be Drew. Oh, that's where he's getting it from. This is just a trade proposal. Come on, guys. No, it's not you, Coach. But come on, guys. Yeah, please. So it'd be Devin Carter, Drew Eubanks for like Zaire's. Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna do that. They have Yegor, they have Nolan.
You gotta be careful, guys, man. We're flying without a net here, man. You can't just throw anything, man.
Yeah. You gotta vet these things, man. Grange on Pirtle, he's hard to trade right now. Oh, you don't say.
I think with the trades, it's going to be one extreme or the other. They're going to go all out and get Sabonis, or there's going to be like, we're going to release Mobo and get under the tax. Like it's going to be something silly like that.
Yeah,
Coach, I'll come on board with you guys, and I'll just say it like this: if you're gonna go all out, to me, Sabonis isn't an all out move.
No,
I agree.
No,
it's kind of a. Yes, but I think getting that, it leaves you a little bit thin. But like I said, you guys could talk me into it. It would really depend. But going back to that like imagination, that idea, if it's like a 2020, I don't know. Okay. It's really hard for me to get around that 2020.
Here's the argument of how you could, because there's always a political element with these guys, right? And RJ is a political, as I mentioned earlier, he's a political time bomb in some ways, because if you don't handle him right, it could get real ugly real fast. So if he doesn't want to trade RJ, this goes back to Reese's point, where he doesn't want to trade RJ because he's got the 2 bad contracts, but he can't get rid of the 2 bad contracts. And the only way he's going to make moves if it's RJ. So if he moves RJ, to Kenyon's point, if you're going to do it for the right guy, right? Which is really the DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard trade.
Right.
If you know that DeRozan's like our favorite son, essentially, if you're going to trade him, you better trade him for a dude where everyone can say they can be upset, but it's like, hey, we got Kawhi Leonard. That's what you got to do. So this is like a version of this, where it's like you get Trey Murphy the third, he might be a star when you get to your. Everyone's like, you know what, love RJ, but hey, 25 points a night looks pretty good in the Raptors uniform. 25 years old, everyone shuts their mouth.
Yeah.
If
And
you
it
answer
may
your
not
question,
work
Kenyon?
out. Yeah.
I would have done it for Jaren Jackson because of the need of the team more than Trey Murphy. Because,
agreed,
but that's my answer.
right?
Basically.
But
I
you
think
got-
that Trey Murphy costs you less than Jaren Jackson.
He does.
Sure.
agree with that too. Yeah,
But
But
I'd
what-
rather have him than another 6'8" guard, even though Trey Murphy's a very talented guard or small forward. I would rather have a Jaren Jackson because we needed that position. But that's
I'd rather have Trey
Yeah.
Murphy. I think
I
Trey
think-
Murphy's.
yeah.
sorry.
In some ways, there
because
is
then
an
you
argument.
have you're limited then because you have no draft picks and you're completely capped out. So then you can't.
No, not
you can
necessarily.
small ball for the
Wait,
rest of your-
wait. First of all, you still have Pirtle.
You'll- No, but you'll be small ball for the rest of your life, and then you'll have pylon Pirtle out there. So I don't think that
No,
works.
not necessarily. I mean, they've gotten away so far this year. You'll eat this year right now, Reese. But then when you get the draft, you can still draft a center. Then you should be able
Will
to pick
they?
up some half decent center. Well, that's their problem. I can't speak for them.
Sorry, Reese, are you talking about what during the? Well, first of all, okay, this year in our range, there are some centers. We will get to them
Yeah.
at some point. There are
Yeah,
not
they're
the
all
best centers. Okay, they're not compared to last year.
No.
Last year was
Yeah.
a much better center crop.
Right.
Right. We could all. I know where Reese stands. I think I know where Coach stands. I think Coach would rather have a center, but to me, I'm not dying to have a center in the draft. If we keep draft pick, I would rather have someone that could force me or allow me to get off of IQ. That's where I stand. Someone who could, because right now, defensively, yes, I'm not saying that like, if you put up against all the 7-footer teams and stuff like that, yes, we're gonna have a problem. But like, you're not facing them all on a night-to-night basis, and you're still a top 10 defense. I'm not saying a top 5. Some people would argue, but I think you're a legit top 10 defense without a center. So I think that it's enough to kind of get by. So answer a different question. And in terms of the talent upgrade that like a Trey would provide and what he would provide overall versus Jaren Jackson, I don't think Jaren Jackson offensively punches up enough.
Not even close.
And he does not
No,
rebound either.
no.
And you always complain about rebounding. And
No,
he
you're right.
plays
He doesn't
soft and
rebound.
small too.
Yeah.
Even-
The shot blocking and all that is fantastic. You'd be able to switch on smaller guards. All that's fantastic. But to point Kenyon's point, there's a lot more gaps that we have to fill than you think when it comes to Triple J. I don't get me wrong, I love it, but I want to get the more of the bigger talent. Now, James made an interesting point. I'm not sure which way he's cutting it, as far as that he's a better player than he was a couple years ago, or he's a worse player. I don't know which way he's leaning on that one.
Sorry, my comments are slowed, so you're seeing them before me even.
Yeah, he says, guys, this is not the Murphy of a couple of years ago. And I guess what I would say to him is, here's the irony. We just picked up a guy from New Orleans who we said a couple of years ago it wasn't the same player in this case here. So sometimes, and this is where Reese and I, coming from a football background, we know how that bunch whirls out there in New Orleans. They only care about the black and gold in New Orleans, and that's it. It's the Saints. So when it comes to them and what they put around these players, it's like high school varsity stuff for equipment and programming half the time. So if you actually
value that medical staff more.
Right, exactly. When you actually have one of the best medical staffs in the league,
because they're literally using the football staff as the team.
Yeah, exactly. They're usually using football staff and like using some some broke down like equipment stuff. You're wondering why their players are falling apart every three games. That's one of the reasons why. Also, Brandon Ingram comes here. He's leading the league in minutes. Right. Yeah. All I'm saying is, we saw with Kawhi Leonard. All I'm saying is that you get guys in this case here when you talk about Murphy. It may not be that. Once again, it's very similar to the Josh situation. You get guys out of certain environments. They might look very different in your program versus what's in New Orleans. Like New Orleans is a hot mess. Like, God, I pray for your man there, Hail to the Queen there, because with his body type, it can get ugly quick, man. There, Coach.
Yeah, with what Daniel just said in the comments, that's the reason that Triple J would scare me. Is that his contract goes to $50 million a year next year?
Yeah, that's true.
35 now, it goes up like $15 million. That's the thing with Sabonis, though. I think Triple J is better than Sabonis, or at least I think there's a perception that he gets more value than Sabonis. He might not be better. Because offensively, you can make an argument that Sabonis is better. Defensively, it's no conversation.
Right.
But I think the market for Triple J is more clearly. He got 3 first-round picks, and you get a couple of young players. You're not getting that for Sabonis. You'll be lucky to get 1 pick. You'll get a fringe, maybe all-star, fringe type in RJ, and you get a guy with a bad back.
Well, I think Bill Nation made an interesting point, too, is that, God bless Triple J, man. But once again, man, I tired of the Charmin crew, man. We need some.
That's
We need
what
some.
you stole my thunder, man. But yeah, no,
go ahead.
Because no, I was just gonna say the way that I describe him, Reese, for you, is I will describe him like a player that you have always said that you do not want the Raptors to get.
I know
He
what
is
you're
a
gonna
better
say.
version of Miles Turner.
Yeah, I know. I said when we originally talked about this before Beyond came on, I said he doesn't rebound enough and he's kind of soft. So I understand that. And from that respect, that's why I said, Trey Murphy would be interesting. But if you're going to make that all-in move, I don't know if Trey Murphy is the guy you do it for. This is not
So-
Kawhi Leonard coming over here.
That's fair.
What I
I
will
see your point.
what I will say is the whole point of getting Trey Murphy to me is not that you're one piece away. I don't see it as a one piece away, but I think it's like when I say all in, I'm just talking about in terms of what they're giving up this deadline. It's all in terms of okay, you see him as a piece of your core in the future. If you're getting a core piece, sorry.
No, I would say to support your point. To also add to is if you could identify someone you think will be a star, right?
Sure.
A la Brunson, right? So like this is the thing you could get. You slip underneath the radar. It's like, oh, we see someone here that we think might be a star. I like Kyle Lowry, right? So sometimes you can find a guy where it's like, okay, he's not right where he is yet, but he's about 1 year away from that breakout.
Yeah, that's why I said yes, because I when I hear Trey Murphy's name, I get excited. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, we'll do that. It's just then you think, okay, like where are we without those draft picks and with IQ Scotty and all that? Then it sort of comes to my head like, is that the right move?
So that's why we went to the next step, which is would it be hypothetically worth it to give up Trey Murphy to give up a 2026 pick rather than 3 draft picks to get Trey Murphy? And that's kind of where we kind of got stuck because I find it. I wouldn't want to give up 3 picks, and I wouldn't want to give up a 2026 pick either. So I'm in a tough situation.
I'm giving a 2026, a pick swap in 27, and I'd give him another one in 2028 for Murphy. That's what I would do.
Okay, so that's
okay. Let me throw it back.
That's a bit much, I know. But
okay, let me go back to the original Utah package, which was like all the odd numbers: 27, 29, and 31.
Some of which were not their own, but yes, go on.
Okay, fair enough.
See, you know how you could have gotten Trey Murphy?
How?
If you didn't trade for Brandon Ingram.
I know. I know. But it is what it is right now. I'm just hoping. I know. I'm just hoping Joe Dumars is looking to clean the slate, and he's moving on with Fears and Queen, and that's his core, and we can just move on from this group, which I suspect is what this is going to lead to eventually. And all I'm saying is that even though what you guys say with the 3 picks, you still have 28, 30, 26, 28, and 30 guys, and the team the team is still half decent, you're not gonna have a top 10 pick anyways. So like you're just filling out the back end. You're just filling out the back end of the roster because you have all the key guys.
Well, my thing is,
I don't know, Coach. Do we really know this team is as good as they are this year, considering the injuries and how weak the East is? I'm not convinced that that's the case.
But the whole point of getting Trey Murphy in this situation is not about this year. Like we got to stop focusing on this year, right? Like,
well, here's the thing. Let's assume that we get Trey Murphy and we are in the bottom 20s of the draft. Is anyone in the bottom 20s going to be as good as him in the next few years?
No.
2027. Let's assume the team is also top 5.
And I don't think you're going to get a center in that range either.
Right.
That's really
but in 2027, the draft is weaker. And in 2028, they say the draft is weaker. So basically, I'm probably not going to find a guy as good as him in the draft unless the team is bad. That'd be my argument for that.
And also, too, you have the Trojan horse argument, which is that when the time comes, this kind of keeps the Kenyon's point. When Ingram's time comes, I don't have to worry about making a decision about him.
True.
It's been fun. You got your money.
That's been my argument in terms of the guys that I've been interested in. Like, I don't think we're going to get LaMelo now, but when I was talking about potentially, hey, you might get LaMelo, right?
Yeah,
which is now it's the hottest team. So say what you want, but hey, it was very, very interesting because it's like I'm looking at what happens after Ingram's gone. That's what I've been focused on because I've never seen Ingram as like, okay, well, 4 years from now when Ingram's 32, he's still going to be like, here and taking flack from guys and stuff like that. And Patrick, I can't pronounce his name. He's okay. I actually started scouting him today. Don't want to really, spoil anything. He's okay, but there's
And
not a
honestly,
ton of centers that really are like.
I like my
whatever.
German giant, man. Give me my German giant.
He's the if you're talking about Steinbeck, I looked into him as well. He's technically power forward.
I understand, but I like 6'11", 220. That's fine. I'll take it.
yeah, that's a center from on this team. That's a center.
I'll take it. I'll take it, man.
I mean,
And
if we're
that
talking
guy-
about 220, our CMB weighs more than them.
Yeah, but he's gonna fill out to about
Yeah.
240 when he's done, right?
Yeah,
Like when he gets on the
that
NBA
guy.
program, he'll fill out. Like,
Beyond, as we know, Germans don't get smaller.
yeah. Like even like take someone like Triple J, right? Like when he came in, he was like a string beat. Like now he's not big, bulky, but he's bulked up a little bit now. So like I can see that still be a guy who could play center. You know, so like
James, hope they trade Grady too, because I'm sick of him playing 7 minutes a game on this stupid team.
well, he's a guy who can get moved in this case in the right deal. I mean, I've come to the fact I'm resigned to the fact, or not even resigned, but I'm comfortable with the fact that if the right move is there, and they, for example, if we're talking about the third and the Grady's in it, I ain't lose no sleep. It's been fun, Grady.
No,
adios.
It's been fun. Yeah, because he's just never gonna. Yeah, he's just never gonna be that gear. So you might as well. Move
there's
him
a
in that
possibility that Trey Murphy could actually end up being better than Brandon Ingram in the long term.
There's a world that can happen.
Yeah, because I think he's
The
got
only
better.
thing is Trey is his health. Really, he
Yeah.
hasn't been the most healthiest of players,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I mean, Joe
Yeah, I
Dumars is a pretty high price for him, and he should.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot to do with the organization of New Orleans because they've proven time and time again that every time anyone plays there, they can't stay healthy.
So
the black cat running around in New Orleans.
So just to give the full thing, the NBA crafted overall. It basically, I look at it to briefly aggregate a lot of the different advanced analytics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Trey Murphy, was he injured last year? By the way?
I think he was.
Okay,
He was
this
injured
might
some.
explain. Okay, so this might explain some of it, but defensively, he is better than RJ. So this is where we're starting.
That's not saying much.
Yeah, this is where I am starting here. But it's actually, in theory, defensively, he is worse than Grady, just from an advanced analytics standpoint. Now, do I actually think he is? No, but hold on. Do I actually think he's worse than Grady defensively? No. Exactly, Gio. This is my point. I think that there's a world where he, and I'd have to do some more film on his defensive stuff. I think there's a world where he actually might have lost a step defensively because of the injury, and I need to look and see how are his movements. However, offensively, he's a 90th percentile guy.
Yeah, I'll take that. As we said the other day, yo, man, buckets get you paid, okay? With all due respect, I'll figure out the defense later. And you know what? Well, go ahead. I think you're about to make my point, but you go ahead, Coach. I think you're leaning right where I was about to go. Go ahead.
What are we in offensive ranking? Are we in the bottom 15? Or
it's not worth talking about. We're in the bottom 10.
30th. We're 30th in 3-point percentage, I think.
Correct.
Trey Murphy can help with both of those things in improving your offense. Sorry, that's all I want to say beyond.
No, and I even thought you were going to the other thing. It's like, if we were willing to take Brandon Ingram, who in this could reputational-wise, from a defensive standpoint, was no Knicks coming to run our test. And we say, hey, we'll take it, right? I take my chances with guys 3 years younger and in theory healthier than Brandon Ingram. You know, yeah, I'll take my chances, guys. You know, this is the thing that kills me with Raptor fans, right? The same argument they're trying to work against us right now with Trey, with the third, is the same argument the opposite way. They say, oh, Brandon Ingram, man, yeah, man, that's a killer. It's like, wait a second. Brandon, Reese gave the thing last year with the numbers, which I was shocked when I saw on X. Like, he's only played that many games in the last few years. Like, so come on, guys, we gotta stay consistent, man. Like, really.
I see. I would not trade the French kid or draft the French kid. He looks like he can barely move.
Oh, jeez.
Listen, guys, we had our chance to draft 2 different centers this year, and they chose not to. I'm not holding my breath.
It's okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
There's something with them with centers, though, man. I don't know. I mean, that's the reason why, in some ways, I kind of just want the Sabonis deal to be done, because at least they
there's a world, yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't have to, because then we get the Reese's point where it's like we pray that they pick a center in the draft.
The other thing is, are they willing to develop a center, and do we trust them to develop a center? So there is like ignoring the Trey Murphy stuff. I don't know if I trust them to develop a center in the right way and in a way that would be best, especially with the point guard that we have right now.
Do you know since like 2006, roughly, we've had European centers, basically. Rasha Nesterovic
Yes.
and Bargnani. We had Marcus Saul for a bit. Valanciunas then came in. Gasol. And then it was Alex Len. Aaron Baines is Australian, I know that. But we've had all these international centers, more
Well,
or
that's why
less.
Steinbach, they might
And
actually draft him because he's from Germany.
So, coach, in this case here, what, JV's not from Kenya or Ghana?
You see him with like the
Pearl's not from Ghana? What? No,
with like a
Pearl's not from
dashiki.
Nigeria?
Saying,
They brought it up on the Hello and Welcome show. And I'm like, and I thought back, I'm like, my goodness, they're right. We've already had like international and European centers on this team outside of Serge Ibaka, who was like a backup center to Marcus Gasol.
You have to go way back to the old regime with Antonio Davis or Marcus Camby was the center, essentially.
Yeah,
I find that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a question. Gio asked a question saying, "How much has Ingram's value gone up since last year?" And then
It
the
has
second
not.
part, and then the second part is, if team offer 2 to 3 picks, would Bobby trade for him? Let's answer the first one first, and then we'll go from there. So, Mouth, you gave your answer. You think his value has not gone up.
and no. Those are the two
Okay.
answers.
Beyond?
Value's gone up, yes, and picks, not 3, 2 maybe.
No. If someone offered that, would
Offered
Bobby
that?
take it? Yes, that's
Would
what.
Bobby take it?
I think he would.
I think he would. I think he would.
Like I think I'll answer the last part first. Yes.
Yes.
If someone was offering 3 picks for Brandon Ingram, Brandon Ingram would not be a Raptor right now.
Yes.
Because and also too, because of going back to our original point, he's boxed in contractually. He needs to get out of some stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coach.
I think he could probably get you 2 first-round picks. I think it depends on the picks.
But if someone offered him 2 to 3 picks, would Bobby take it?
3's a bit much.
No.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, okay, if it was 3, I think Bobby would. If it was 2, no, I don't think he would.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I agree with you. I do not think he's worth that. But yeah. Do I think that he increases value? Yeah, I do think so. Because right now, I'll go with Reese's point. Reese came in and said, I don't think he's going to play a ton this year. And I said, he's going to play. I said, I don't know about the year after.
How he's played so much this
he
year.
has
Boy.
played
he might be
Like,
in a stretcher next year, but I said he's
Yeah.
going to be playing this year. I said he's going to play at least 65 games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Man, as long as he's with Glorilla and she's coming to games, man, I think he'll be playing.
Listen,
It's
she has a
Alex.
magic voice, and she's taking care of our boy. That's all that matters. Okay?
So the combo of Glorilla Alex, that's what it is, man. It's got it done.
Yes.
Glorilla takes care of home. He takes care of it when he gets to the court. Okay.
Boy, I never
Precisely.
thought someone would mention them in the same sentence. Glorilla and Alex McKechnie. Wow.
It's a great
Yes.
combination, man. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yes. So, yeah, of course. But
That was like that conversation we had when you mentioned Andrew Cuomo and Tony Braxton on the show. That was a while ago.
Well, apparently we aren't including Brandon. Listen, I came out today, and we've been saying it on Basketball Rewind time and time again. More than likely, if there's one person that they would ask for if you are trading your franchise's best player since Kareem. Oh, what's going on there? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Cinder back there. That's how old it was.
Yeah, exactly. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and the first guy since then to win your franchise's second championship. I think they're going to ask for Scotty, and that is sensible. It makes sense. Yes.
Like John Wooden says, the
Gentlemen,
As-
I have
as-
to head out, unfortunately, to our audience. Thank you very much.
Take care and say hello to everyone.
I will.
The
Thank you.
Godfather deal.
Yes.
Josh Wilbur refers to it.
So that's what I would say in terms of yeah, like I just we're out of the Giannis
It's not happening,
sweepstakes
guys.
the second that we said that yeah, like I just getting Giannis right now is tough unless it was like Scotty and no picks, and that even that is like then you still have to figure out a Pirtle deal. Then you still have to figure out this. You know, that's why I said to a few people, like, if you could somehow do Scotty and Pirtle with no picks to get Giannis, you would Bobby might be GM of the year.
Like, let's put it this way, guys. If Bobby clearly liked this team the way it is right now, and you want to know how I know that? Because they gave Pirtle that extension. They had no plans to make any moves or any trades after they gave that man that extension. So they like the team the way it is. So I would honestly expect more likely that nothing happens than something happens because that extension eliminated most of our opportunities to make moves. All.
I think I disagree with that. I don't think it's because he likes the deal. I think that Bobby looked at the spreadsheet. He's a very analytical guy to a fault. You see this sometimes where a guy's just purely thinking just of the money, and they're just like, well, like actually, if I move this here, blah blah blah, you know, and all of a sudden, right? And it's like, you know,
I don't
well,
care.
actually, if
that,
you know,
what school did he go to, Kenyon, that made him think that extension made sense? Because I don't
well,
know. I'm in accounting, and it makes no sense.
The school that makes the most sense for Bobby, considering he's a U.S. guy, and you know what this school has produced in terms of talent right now is Wharton School of Business. Those who know.
Then he failed. Did he get expelled after that contest? Because he failed.
I mean, one guy failed all the way to the top, so I'll just leave it at that. I don't know. Both, you know who I'm talking about? You don't have to say the name. Beyond, you know who I'm talking about. Hey, man. It's all about the art of the deal. On that note, I think that's a great place. Yeah, he's Steve Jobs. Bobby is not. I think part of it was more about him saying, Bobby, I think, has screwed himself by signing bad contracts or signing contracts too early, or waiting till last minute. And I think that like the whole Fred VanVleet saga really screwed them. And so I think that they were like, oh, well, we really need to make sure that we don't get screwed again. And I don't think that they realized, as I joked to Beyond about this, but Beyond asked me on Basketball Rewind, he says, you know, did they not like see them, you know, Pirtle in person? And I said, no, it was probably a Zoom call when he signed it where, you know, you just see him kind of propped up in the chair like this and he's a little stiff and, you know, he's just like, you know what, just send me it and I'll do a digital signature. Right.
Digital signature.
You see, like, I've just never moved from this spot. Right.
Wow.
Right. I don't know how they get past Alex and those guys are both.
Yeah. Now we know why they didn't draft a center and have no interest in developing a center. Pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they also thought, you know, Chomsky.
Chomsky.
Well, yeah. Our old friend Molly still wondering where he is.
Yeah, we don't have to mention
oh, man.
No, we don't have to mention
the best of Raptors Nation. So, with that being said, I think this is definitely a pod. Problem is yes, the Raptors are going to, regardless of whether players want to come here or not. I think they have a flexibility problem, and we just have to see what happens, and we will get an answer. Folks, I will probably not be doing a full trade deadline show because I just gave you 2 hours now. What you
Unless
will
the
see
Raptors
is
make a big deal.
no. I got to study.
I will probably come on. If there's a record
Nah,
deal,
ain't
I'll
worth it.
go live, guys.
If they get the third, I'll do a show.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. There you
we
go.
Guys, if the Raptors make a deal, I'll do a live. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah,
I
there
That's
you
right.
go.
Okay, you make the main thing, man. They get the third.
Main
Here we
thing,
go.
That's right. I don't think that they're getting the third. I'd be impressed.
We'll go from the 6th to the 3rd. That'll be our new game in Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we go. I'll take this existence, fellas.
Bobby understands that. Only understands that.
I mean, he's got a, you know what? He's got a point actually, and I think. He's got a point.
That's when you got to end the show. That's the line.
That's great way to close it out. This is a bar. There's been a lot of. I think what was it? There was another bar about Bobby where someone said about Pelly's basically just like how they said RJ's not getting extended. Is like no, Pelly says Bobby ain't getting an extension either. So it might have been changed as well. Sorry if I'm
he has not had a good start to his Toronto life here. Keeping the management team in Toronto and now keeping Bobby. This has not been.
You're getting the call as well, sir. So it is time to end.
Yeah. Not a good start for Keith Pelly. Not a good start.
No, and the Leafs are doing bad, and their coach looks like he just got beat up by the mafia. So hey, which Mouth, I got to ask you about that offline.
Yeah.
But you need to give me some sort of insight as to that because I don't know what happened to this man.
I will let you know.
If he owes like a gambling debt or something, as it looks like it. Folks, we're not sponsored by anyone, so like, comment, and subscribe. Do not gamble. Icy Hot, please give us a sponsorship. We would love it. And same with Brisk.
Have a party for Darko being coach.
And Crispers. Crispers is great. So yeah, take care, people, and peace.